we're going to hop right into this thing, and we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday. Now, if you tuned in to the show last night, you will know what I'm about to get into now. But if you didn't tune in last night, this may go over your head. We went over how the Virgo would have her foot on the moon and how her head would be adorned with the sun. And I showed you how the moon goddesses, they appear just that way, with their foot on the moon and their head with the sun. Hold on. The ancients was telling us what we're about to witness on September 23rd. You'll see a lot of these moon goddesses. Matter of fact, the great architect is one. Hold on. I had the picture of this stuff, but you know you gotta bear with me. So I'm gonna find yeah, we're gonna pick up right where we left off. But give me a minute to open up a couple tabs. All right. So somewhere on here, and I must have lost it, you can see the great architect, but basically what they showing you whenever you see the goddess on the moon crest like this, with her feet on the moon, it's the same thing we see here with Virgo with her feet on the moon there. Now, one thing I wanted to point out about all of this is that the goddess normally have her foot on the moon shooting an archbow, and her shooting that archbow is equivalent to a pregnant belly. So you'll see a lot of, for example, moon goddess with archbow. See here, you'll see a lot of the moon goddesses with their foot on the moon with the archbow. And what they're showing you here with that archbow is what I was showing you yesterday. Now let me find this, because I'm not really that organized, but we're gonna get some work in today. And shout out to all of y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Again, what we're gonna be seeing September 23 is known by the Irish as the dragon being pinned by the spear. And if you look at your moon goddess there, when you think about the dragon being pinned down by a spear, I went over it yesterday. I don't know how many of you who present now was tuned in with us. But the dragon being pinned by the spear became this symbol. We use it for medical. We use it, you see the snake wrapped around this pole. This is a very known, popular symbol with the snake being wrapped around the pole. And I went over yesterday exactly what that means. And what it means is, okay, let me go at this slide for you. All right. So if you know Leo, the lion is going to be in the middle of this alignment. And Leo will be carrying a rod or a scepter, in which, if you bear with me, I will pull that up now. Now, I went over this yesterday on a previous video, so I don't want to spend too much time repeating myself. This is just a little intro before we go back to another part. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Leo the lion slaying the dragon would be the equivalent of Jesus defeating the devil in Revelation. So just to give you a celestial image of what this will look like, come September 23rd, just like you see here, you see Leo the lion, the alignment is going to be aligned with Leo's hand. So it's going to be like Leo the lion is swinging a rod in his hand. This is why you see the lion with the staff. Now, when Leo swings this rod, he's going to be cutting the head off a hydra. Now, let's go back to, hold on. So you can see how this is going to play out. Let me show you. So I got so much stuff open, it's ridiculous. But it's all good. All right, let me see here. So what we want to pull up real quick, just and again, if you didn't look at the previous video, you're missing out. All right, so look, so y'all know exactly what's going on here. That's not a good one. Here we go, this is a good one. All right, so now, you see what a sun is? No, you don't. Let me share my screen. So here we go. And shout out to all of y'all. So look, this is what the sky gonna look like on September 23rd. Where you see this woman again with the sun by her head, and you see the moon by her foot, but you see Leo above her, and you see the two of them are aligned with this serpent. Now, there's a couple of planets running across here that's going to be in perfect alignment on the 23rd, and it's going to look like the Virgin and her son Leo is swinging a rod at this serpent. And the way it's going to dissipate after alignment is going to look like they chopped his head off. It's a beautiful celestial event that you don't want to miss. Here's a close-up of this ecliptic, or this line right here that you're looking at. If you look at the hands of Leo, you'll see he's holding that alignment. That became to be the dragon slayer, Leo the dragon slayer, or the Lion of Judah, or Jesus coming back in Revelation to defeat the great serpent. This story has been told over and over again in so many ways. But I want to go further in this video than I went on the last video. And I want to go ahead and tie up some things together that I didn't necessarily tie up on the last one. So the Virgin and her son, now this is the great whore in Revelation. All right, she was pregnant, and her child made war with the beast. All of this I went over in detail yesterday. So please check out the previous video, guys. I can't stress you enough, because I'm going to go right into the new portion of this. I'm not going to, keep repeating myself. So I get this article from Planet X News, the astronomical sign of Revelation 12 and Google cover-ups. Let's just read this real quick. And while I read this, I'll let you guys just take a look at this so you can keep this in your head. And matter of fact, I think I got some better images for you guys today. So I'm going to read this to you. And while I read along, you keep this concept in your mind. Okay. So we're going to roll with that one. All right. So there is an object called the red dragon anomaly, and you really need to see that. Hold up a minute. I can actually put that up on the screen for you. So give me a minute. While I read this, I'm going to have that up, and that'll give y'all a real good mental picture of it all. So here you go right here. That way you can see the dragon, you can see the Lion of Judah, and you can see the Virgin. So while that's up there, just listen to what I'm going to read. There is an object called the red dragon anomaly appearing in the constellation Virgo, currently mirroring the vision or biblical sign of Revelation 12. Cosmologically, the sun travels the ecliptic, and every September it passes through the constellation Virgo. Let me stop right there. Look at this in front of you. See this alignment right here and this whole Revelation story? It happens every year. What if I told you this is one of the greatest celestial events in your life, and we've been missing it our whole lifetime? It's been happening, but only this time we're going to be acknowledging it. Only this time, this alignment that we're going to see on the 23rd is different than all the rest of them, because even though this thing happened every September, and again, September is really the end of your calendar, because you got 7 days of the week, and Septos is 7 when you're dealing with months. Don't never forget that Julius, July, Augustus, and August, they should be there. All right, so September is the 7th month, which is the end of the real year. And they call this New Year's for witches. But remember, witches was burnt to the stake because they practiced these divine sciences of nature. So what they telling you about in Revelation is a patriarchal story that was told by the people who put us in a new world order. But before them, this story was told in a beautiful way. So when you go back to Kemet and you see the serpent wrapped around a pole and the serpent and all of this, see the serpent talk. It ties into Hydra as well. The serpent represents balance. The serpent is parallel to the virgin and the child. That's why they said his tail will swipe down all of the stars of heaven and rule so much of the nations, so to speak. They just letting you know that this serpent will, Hydra, the constellation Hydra, will be parallel to this alignment. So it's going to look like Hydra is making war with Leo while he holding this rod in his hand. It's going to be very beautiful stuff. So Leo is here. And if you look at this, and I'm pretty much being repetitive because I went over this yesterday. Leo is the line of Judah, or Jesus coming back with the angels on either side of him. So he's going to be surrounded by the head of the dragon and the virgin, or the angels. Leo and Virgo will surround the actual sun. As you can see here, you see the sun is Jesus, also Leo. So this is very deep stuff. When you see the sun in between Leo and Virgo, is no different than Jesus in between the two thieves. Let me stop being repetitive and let me get to where I'm going with this article. For people who just tuning in and then watched yesterday, you just gonna have to catch up. So the sun travels the ecliptic, and every September it passes through the constellation Virgo. 7 is the lucky number. Septo, September. This happens every September. So we really need to keep that in mind. The moon also travels close by. Toward the end of September 2017, there is a precise configuration of the Revelation 12 imagery, which is somewhat complex and involves the simultaneously interface of half a dozen astronomical variables. But in addition to Revelation 12 sign, as it is known, the imagery of the dragon at the feet of Virgo, with sun at head and moon at feet. If you're looking at the picture in front of you, you see what they're talking about. This presents itself right now in real time. So in 3 days from now, Leo's scepter will be fully aligned in his hand. That's the big alignment. So what you want to keep in mind is Leo will be holding all of the wandering stars in a straight line, and Virgo will be helping him hold that staff. So it's not just Leo himself, it's his mama who gave birth to him. You can see her hands is raised. I always tell y'all about the goddess with her hands raised for victory, because when they swing this staff, they defeating the beast. She ruled victoriously with her child. This is all worship and fertility. She ain't doing it alone. You can see the moon under her feet because the moon is the crest or the anchor. When you swing this rod, you swinging it from off the back of your foot, from the spine, all the energy coming from your foot up into your shoulders, and you're swinging it down toward this dragon's neck. And she's been assisted by Leo, and you can see that the star in the middle of Leo's hand is Regulus, because he regulate with this rod. Regular is Ma'at, or balance, not to this, not to that. So when you see in Genesis, the scepter shall not depart from Judah. That scepter is this planetary alignment. It's going to be aligned in Judah's hand. So when Jesus defeat the serpent, this is all celestial event. It say, nor a lawgiver from between his feet. You can see Regulus between his feet. That's the lawgiver. The regulator is the judge, or Ma'at, to bring balance or to make things regular. You know, regular is not too hot, not too cold, it's warm. So we just getting a little refreshment, and we also going to move on because all of these is saying the same thing. It's telling you the moon travels close by, and everything we see here in Revelation we see in the sky, which is right, nature or the book written by man. So I would go with nature. And nature has never attacked us with these stars in this celestial event. Only this time they are using it to try to attack us because we don't know what's going on, but the ancients knew. So the most exact appearance will occur in September. In fact, over a 7,000 year period, keep that number in your head. 7 is the number, 7, all right? When you deal with the book of Revelation, 7 is everywhere. That's the number of completion. After 7, you get to 8, which is just recycling or infinity. All right. Then you go to 9, which is telling you the same thing. It's a spiral. Because why? After that, you go back to 10, which is just 1 all over again. The numbers repeat themselves. So 7 is really the cornerstone or the angle, the base of the pyramid where you end your linear travel and you bend a corner, because there's 4 corners on a pyramid, and if you was traveling the base, you would travel in a linear direction until you reach a cornerstone or angle, which is the number we call 7. 7 is severed or see even. So I went into that yesterday. 7 is a very important number. Now, 7 months is how long it takes for pregnancy for a woman to give birth. I know you've been taught 9 months, but it's really 7 months, anywhere from 7 to 12 months. So we'll move on here. And it says that the Revelation 12 sign as observed in the autumn of 2017 is unique. It does not appear in context with all elements present any other year than 2017. This year that we in is the last year of the Gregorian calendar, and we're going to go out to September 23rd. That's pretty much the end of the world because time stops. The elite don't know how to track the movement of the stars after September 23rd. And after September 23rd, we're going to enter a new paradigm where everybody on earth going to be asking the same questions flat earthers been asking. That's why I say every knee shall bow, every tongue shall see. Everyone on the earth going to see this event, and that ain't going to be possible on a globe. There's going to be so many questions that they can't answer, that just like the book said, the beast going to make war with the people. When they see us start challenging their 7,000-year-old system, then they're going to have to make war because they weren't prepared for these questions and these challenges. They was just prepared for you not questioning, accepting the indoctrination and the belief. But nature is intervening on the 23rd, revealing to us all that we're not on a globe, for the fact that there's a temple that our ancestors put on every continent that's going to line up with this alignment. And also this will be the equinox. This was the 23rd is an equinox. So not only is this alignment, and in the middle of Virgo and Leo and Hydra is all of the planets going in a perfect line. This happens. This is a reoccurring event. This proves to you this ain't a mishap and we going in a void of darkness with stuff that don't know what's going on. There's an intelligence moving these celestial luminaries that they've been hiding for the past 7,000 years, that we're going to be exposing these next 7 years. Is going to be a storm, and then it's going to be a rainbow. Please, I beg of you guys, look at all of the videos I've done on this. It's the end of their rule, but before they leave the throne, it's going to be 7-year period where we get back on nature's clock. You see, their clock ends on the 23rd. They don't know how to track the movement of the earth with their heliocentrism nonsense, because some of the events that's going to be taking place over the next 5 to 7 years are going to be some of the most important events that was said by the ancestors. Their time was, they knew that their time was limited when they created the New World Order. We're not in civilization. We've been in a matrix. We've been under a New World Order. The civilization ended 7,000 years ago. We're going back to civilization now, or the New Jerusalem, as Revelation call it. When they say the earth will be thrown into the lake of fire, that's the Gregorian calendar. The world is not the earth. The world is the new world order. Okay, that has nothing to do with the earth. There's many world systems on this earth. There are even third world systems. So when they say the world is ending, you need to say which world. The new world is ending. We're going back to the age of the mother. So we're going to enter a new paradigm. And what you got to realize is the serpent being slain is symbolic to the end of their rule. Now, this is very powerful stuff because everything happened in the heavens happens down here on the plane. Now, when I say the end of the world is the end of their calendar, they thought this was going to happen during Y2K. You see, the thing about the globe is that it's not a standalone mechanism. It comes with the Gregorian calendar, and it also comes with the world religions. Without those, it's like a gun without the bullets and without the shooter. The globe can only maintain itself with the world religious systems, and especially the Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar is sort of an itinerary to track the movements of the globe. So what I'm telling you is, this is how heliocentrists can predict stuff just like the ancients. And even though we know the time is off and we're not in year 2017, they're still in the right year of the ancients. This is the end of not only their calendar, but the Mayan calendar. A new year began. The only thing different about it is they're the ones controlling what's going on the earth. They're in power. So with geoengineering, weather manipulation, and all of this monstrous technology that they're going to actually be recreating the book of Revelation in our time. In the ancient time, there were no cataclysms and fear and all of that about this time. It was a beautiful time. But today, the past 7,000 years, the New World Order has been everything they've done since the beginning of the New World Order is leading up to this date. This is their final stand, and they got to get it right. But they know they weren't going to be able to get it right. This was the challenge of all the people who created the New World Order, starting in Kemet. The sun worship system is deeper than just men worshiping the sun. It's smart, evil geniuses who've attempted to explain what we see in our reality by centering it around the sun instead of the Great Mother or the North Pole. There's a hole at the center of our earth where this great alignment will be revolving around. At the center of all of this is the Great Mother. So she's the one spinning this cosmic wheel, or the Hunaku. What you're looking at now is the witch's calendar. But this celestial event would be equivalent to a point on the clock where we reset our clocks, for lack of better words. Time becomes new. And the reason time becoming new, because it's a paradigm shift, meaning that this significant event in the sky is a celestial year. So there's 360 days in a year. You have been given 365 by deceivers. I went into that on a previous video. Catch up. So there's 360 days in a year. And every year is a new year. We mark time by realizing the movement. A year is 360 days because that's how long it takes for the celestial luminaries to make a complete circuit or a circle. And a circle is 360 degrees, not 365. They had to add 2.5 degrees for, I guess, those 2 months of July and August. I don't know, I'm just guessing, but I know a perfect circle is 360. So we're getting back on the right time. We've been off time. But the geniuses who created the New World Order were able to sync their evil Gregorian calendar and their heliocentrism with what we actually see in nature for the past 7,000 years. And because of that, they've been able to rule us. But what's happening now is when it tell you in Revelation, the devil know his time was short. They knew 7,000 years ago when they created this system that there would be another alignment during this time. And for 7,000 years, they had so much time to develop technology and blue beam and weather tools and all of that to hide this big event. But it's the most difficult task in the known history of man, because this is the greatest celestial event any human can ever witness, meaning that this celestial event will cover the entire sky. This is why Revelation say everybody gonna see Jesus when he returns. What you got to realize is Jesus is that lion, that Leo, Judah with the scepter. They're going to see him and his mother making war with the beast. And that's going to be important because this lion is going to be holding a rod. And that rod, he's going to rule over all nations, meaning rule, meaning this alignment of planets that's going to go from, let me show you, go back here to this image. If you can see the head of this dragon, look at the head of the dragon there, and then look at the foot of Virgo where the moon is. Draw a line from her foot where the moon is to the neck of that dragon, but coming through the arms of Leo. That's how the planet's going to be aligned. So it's almost as if she's helping Leo swing this rod, but he's holding it with his hands, and she's helping him. Because when you look at, let's go back here. You see how she's raising her hands, and then this alignment finds itself going through the hands of Leo as well. This is the Virgin Mary and Jesus being, this is the resurrection of the Pharaoh and Kemet, because this has something to do with the pyramids on Giza, and I went over that in the previous videos. I don't want to be repetitive. Keep the concept in your mind of this scepter being swung by Leo and his mother, Virgo. And the reason everybody gonna be able to see it, think about what I'm saying. All of the 7 wandering stars, and 7 is our number, remember that? We're in the age of even 7 is the Sabbath. This event is called Sabbat, and Sabbat just means Sabbath. And remember that Sunday is not the Sabbath, Saturday is. The sun worshipers gave you Sunday to throw you off. Sunday is for the sun, moon day, Monday, and Saturday is Sabbat. And what we're going through now is what we're going to have on the 23rd is the celestial Sabbath. It's the end of the week, or the end of a 7,000 year period on earth. So you can kind of say that we're counting by sevens when we deal with macrocosm. So we can say that every 7,000 years we get what we're going to have on the 23rd, but you get it every September. Every September this event happened, but it don't happen the way it's going to happen on the 23rd. What's making it so, see, this happens every September. Remember, September is 7. Every September the sky gets the way you see it right now on this diagram. But what makes this September so special is this is happening during an autumn equinox. I mean, no, I'm fucking twisting my notes here. What makes this September so special is that this is actually happening during the time, yes, of the autumn equinox. I'm sorry about that. Not only that, but it's happening during a time where we've been under, we had rare eclipses, and we're also going to have more rare eclipses that follow behind this event. This is kind of a signifying mark, and over the next 7 years there are going to be celestial events in the sky that's going to be impossible to explain on the globe, and Neil deGrasse Tyson ain't going to just be able to drop a mic for this one. So this here is where they're going to have to go ahead and just start making war with the people for the fact that they can't answer the questions. And it's the questions that's going to start the quest back to the New Jerusalem or out of the New World Order. But we're going to be persecuted. If you look at what the ancients said, they said it's the time of martyrs. So there are going to be plenty of people dying, because plenty of people are going to be saying, hey, how was we all able to see the Lion of Judah hold his rod on every continent if we're on a globe? And I'm going to be getting into today how that's going to work. Everybody and not only that, During this time, the earth tilt gonna disappear. See, the earth is not a ball and it's not tilted. But they've been able to trick people for 7,000 years, but they're not gonna be able to do it no more because they've been fooling you for so long. But what's gonna happen on the 23rd is equinox means equal night. Equi is equal, nox is night. So during this time, everybody on the earth gonna have equal night and day. So where's your tilted axis? They can't explain how Earth axis they can't explain how Earth's tilt just disappeared during the equinox and we get equal night and day. If Earth tilt disappear, this is what a lot of conspiracy theorists back in the day call a pole shift. But a pole shift ain't the nonsense that they've been telling you about. The pole shift is literally their lies being exposed. Flat earthers are aware now that you can't have an equinox on a globe. Okay? You can't have that. Because then you would have to explain how the earth just loses its tilt. And if you look at this in science, they'll tell you I'm not lying. They'll tell you during the equinox, Earth's tilt just mysteriously vanished. And I didn't even know you can use words like mysterious when you deal with science, but they do because they can't explain it. How all of these temples on every continent gonna be in alignment. This temple over here, what you're looking at now, is in South America. Let me go over this real quick so I can take it off of here. So the equinox alignment in Kukulkan, September 23rd, you're going to see 7 triangles that's going to be lit up and 7 triangles that's going to be dark. If you look in the top right corner of this picture, the top left corner, excuse me. If you look in the top left corner of this picture, let's do this. I don't want to confuse y'all at all. So if you look at this picture, this is what's going to be happening in South America. Remember, our lucky number is 7. We're at the end of the week on a celestial macro scale. This is the end of the world. Time will be reset. This is the end of the Mayan calendar that we're at on the 23rd. When all of these planets align, time will be renewed. Time, even though your Gregorian calendar going to keep going, it's going to fall apart over the next 7 years. They're going to actually have to manipulate the calendar. This is why they got to kill so many of us, to delete history, so they can tell the future generations different stuff. All the people on the earth right now after the 23rd, over the next 7 years, they're going to be questioning this new world order system. Even the most diehard globalists going to be asking the questions I'm asking now. How the world is this equinox alignment going to be taking place in South America and being in alignment with the pyramids in South America, while at the same time across the so-called globe in Africa at Giza, the 3 pyramids at Giza also gonna be in alignment. How can that be possible? How can all of these structures align themselves with this great celestial event on every continent if we're on a globe? The ancients are speaking for us, y'all. The ancients are coming back. Mother Nature is telling the truth and tearing down the New World Order. We said that we wanted the Most High to intervene and tear this system down. You ask for it, you get it. On the 23rd, that's what's happening. On the 23rd, Mama Callie will strike the male patriarch like you see in the artwork, and she will stick her tongue out, symbolizing victory. You know, the snake sticks its tongue out, and it has a V on its tongue, a forked tongue, and that V symbolizes victory, or Virgo, or Virgin. All right. What you want to realize is that the 23rd is very special. I did some videos talking about the 2 3s. It's the Dogon Kananga, the 2 trinities. All right. Trident plus trident. Pretty much Trinity plus Trinity equals infinity. That's the way you remember that. When you take a trident and another trident and stick them together back to back, you get the kanaga, which is the symbol of infinity. So Trinity plus Trinity equals infinity. And this is what Einstein was trying to say when he said E equals mc squared. Now, I went over that into a lot of videos, but when you take the E, the capital E is the trident, a three-pointed trident. And when you face that back to back with each other, you get the kananga. So I don't want to get into that. Y'all know I'll be all over the place. The 23rd is the 2 3s. There was a famous basketball player by the name of Michael Jordan. He played for the Bulls because this is what's going on. The bull is the bell or the bullhorn. Red and black are the colors of Satanism or Saturnism. Balance. This the colors of the witches because the phases of the moon take on the phases of creation. What you got to realize is white is for virginity, purity. Red is for womanhood and childbirth and menstruation, and black is for old age and withering away. So red, white, and black is the color of the bull or the bell or the ball or the balance. Hathor became the Greek god Thor to hide the balance. So I'll go into that. The bull is the cow goddess Hathor. Her colors were red, black, and white, dealing with the moon. She had the star of Aldebaran in between her horns. So we got to go and get the truth now, people. Now, the 23rd and Michael Jordan did something else that y'all thought was original. He stuck his tongue out. He didn't create that. These celebrities know all of the stuff I'm teaching you guys. Michael Jordan is an Omega. And Omega, matter of fact, since I'm talking about it, I might as well share my screen and show and prove, right? Hold up a minute. Purple and gold and black and gold are colors dealing with royalty and a bee goddess. You need to understand Shaq is a Freemason. You need to see that when they do this gesture with their arms like that, I want you to pay attention to Shaq in that picture. Okay, because he was an Omega and he's wearing the purple and gold there. That's what he got famous with. Purple and gold is the colors of Omega Psi Phi. He didn't just go to the Lakers because it was a good franchise move. He went because all of these basketball teams are belong to certain sororities and stuff too. All of these establishments are connected and they all know the truth. Remember that to be in a fraternity or a sorority is to be in a Greek society. Remember that. We're in Greco-Egyptian society right now, or Greco-Egypt. It's a blending world where they created the New World Order under the Ptolemies and the Pharaohs. So look at Shaq and his arms there. Keep it in your mind. And now we go to the horn goddesses. You see how her horns look exactly how Shaq was doing his hands? Because they're tapping into goddess energy like I always tell y'all. So if you look at their horns, she's the Alpha and Omega. She's the arch, that's the Alpha. The Omega is the egg. So what they're doing is a symbol of the horn goddess with the horns on her head. And they've been hiding this stuff. You better believe Shaq and them know the world ain't gonna end. They laughing at us. The whole world laughing at us for being ignorant and being fools. They got you scared of the devils. They got you saying, oh, the dragon gonna come back. The dragon is gonna come back. It's a constellation called Hydra. And Jesus is gonna win the war. But it has nothing to do with literal mythology. I'm showing you right here what they're hiding. That serpent means balance. That's why he encompasses the son and the mother. His head and his tail is paralleling the masculine and the feminine. But he's the serpent, or the one that encompasses them both, wraps around them both. In other words, that serpent is the darkness. It's an extension of Virgo. It eclipses the sun and the moon, the masculine and feminine. So it's a feminine creature just by the curves, just by the hissiness of it. That's why snake skin is sexy, and we link snakes to women. In fact, us linking snakes to women didn't start with these celebrities, because you know, you turn around, you see all of these celebrities wrapping themselves up with the snakes. For example, Rihanna. We always see the woman wrapped up in the snake. Well, that's because right here, you see that snake wrapped around Virgo. All right. So this became the serpent goddess, or the Nagini, the woman with the snakes. I went over this yesterday too. When you see the virgin or the serpent goddess with the snake wrapped around her, it's another way to symbolize this celestial event, because not all ancestors recognize Jesus or Leo. So if you take Leo away from here, because when you look up at the star, you might not see a lion. It can be a bear. You can look at that as a doggone jaguar or a cheetah. So everyone don't have to see a lion. You don't have to see Hydra as a snake. It can be a worm to you. So understand, you're not limited to how you can manipulate these dots and connect the dots to form the creatures. In fact, the saying connect the dots come from what we're doing right now. We're reading the stars. We're being magicians, because as above, so below. When you read the stars, you get a message from above on how to behave below. This is food for your soul. Now give me 1 minute to adjust my equipment and also take a drink of water, and we're going to crank this up a notch. So again, if you didn't tune in to yesterday's video, that one is like, if you missed that one, you're not going to understand anything that I'm talking about. Pretty much any question you got, I answered it on yesterday's video. So let's deal with this woman that's clothed in the serpent. In Revelation, it told you that this great whore will wage war with the serpent. It has a sexual suggestion between this great whore and the serpent. And as you can see, there's a connection between her, the virgin, and the serpent. That's because, like I said, if you take Leo away, I'm going to find a picture for you, because serpent slaying in Kemet, what you will see is this is nothing new. If you go to Kemet, this is called a dragon slayer. You can see that on this art right here, you have a deity with a pole in his hand hitting the neck of that dragon. And they're telling you the same thing that's going to happen here. The goddess or Leo or whoever, whatever deity, because if you look at this picture here, like I said, before Leo was acknowledged, you see Virgo with her hands raised. She was holding that alignment. You can see these planets aligning themselves as if she's holding it, hitting the serpent. That's why when you go back to ancient depictions of this same celestial event, they got it in different creatures doing it. Here you got a lion cutting the neck off the serpent, and they telling you right there that Leo the lion, all right, Leo with this planetary alignment going through his hands, is going to end at the neck of that serpent. And when it dissipates, it's going to look like Leo swung the staff to hit this serpent. This story is so simple, and it's been told in so many ways. Think about it. In some stories where the serpent is not being struck, a lot of ancestors just say that the serpent is wrapped around the pole. And that goes back to what I was telling y'all. Another way you can look at it is like this. Because there's going to be a planetary alignment. That's the staff. That's the stick. All of those planets lined up is the stick. Hydra will be parallel to that alignment. And it's going to look like the serpent is wrapped around the pole. It's going to look like the Virgin and her son Leo is swinging the pole at the serpent. Or it's going to look like the serpent is just wrapped around a pole. You can tell this story in so many ways. In fact, I can make up a new one right now. But what we want to pay attention to is the fact that it have been around for so long, and we've been repeating ourselves. And for so many years, people have been saying the world going in, the world going in, the world going in. And what they're saying is the clock is being reset. They took away the mystery of these sciences from us. So we're going to look at this throughout different cultures just to get it locked in our head of this lion slaying the serpent. This been right in our face, and all of the ancients been telling us the same story. And they said that what we're about to see on the 23rd is one of the most important celestial events you're going to see in your lifetime. Here you can see they have a video game called Dragon Slayer. They're telling y'all this stuff over and over of the great alignment. All right, striking the serpent. And the revelation story is Johnny come lately, man. You know? So when you think about Orion, you don't know the truth until you understand you're on a flat earth and what the ancients was trying to say. I went over Orion in the previous videos, check it out, and the Giza Plateau, because this ties it to Cometicism. It's pretty much everybody was saying the same thing like you can see here. Now, how does this tie into Cometicism? Well, let's pull up a picture of the Giza Plateau and I'm going to blow you away. Remember what I just told you what's going on in South America? Before we get into this, remember, in South America, you're going to get a serpent. You get 7 triangles on the steps of this pyramid that became the stairway to heaven. On the 23rd, that alignment is going to be the same alignment you see in microcosm on this pyramid here. It's 7 wandering stars that's going to line up in the sky. But they're going to be accompanied by a lot of more luminaries. But it's the 7 planets, including the sun and moon, that's going to be participating with the moon at the foot of Virgo and the sun at the head of the great whore or the virgin. You know, they call her a whore because they don't like the women in the Bible. They don't like the women. But this alignment that's taking place in South America on the 23rd, it's going to be so beautiful because the serpent in the sky that you see there is going to also be visible on the pyramid in Kukulkan. So they know about this, our ancient Mayan ancestors. They knew about it, and they were so in tune with it that they were able to make a structure and alignment with this event that come. Hey guys, I'm sorry, we just had a moment to buffer. Looked like my computer was buffering. Thank you for staying with me. We're going to keep on going because it didn't stop nothing. We're back on track. So where was I? You look at the side of this pyramid here, it's very beautiful. It's going to actually, oh my God. So I just had a computer mishap. But we ain't going to let it stop us. I'm going to put that back up there, and I'm going to put that back up there, and we're going to keep going. And I'm going to show you how the ancestors in South America were saying the same thing that the Kemetic people were saying on the Giza Plateau. But what happened in Kemet, they didn't acknowledge the serpent. They strayed from the ways of the serpent. Remember in the Genesis book in the Bible, the serpent was an evil creature. During this time of Kemet, the serpent was being demoted. The serpent is at the middle of the yin yang. He was always a revered creature. The fact that the serpent can speak tells you who turned the light on in Genesis when they said, "Let there be light." The one that spoke balance, because at first there was nothing but darkness. So when the serpent spoke light into existence, yin yang was created. And the serpent resided in between them two, darkness and light. And you can see that concept right here on this pyramid. You can see a light serpent and a dark serpent, or a white fish and a black fish, which makes one serpent in the middle. The serpent is equivalent to the darkness because the darkness can do without the light, but the light can't shine without darkness. So when you look at the yin yang, you'll see that there's a white part and a black part, and you say, well, that's 50-50. Well, really it's not. It's actually more black on the yin yang than it is white, because the serpent is actually black in the middle. And this is why black people keep saying, black people God and all of that. They want us to think that to hide the real truth. Everyone's ancestors had this truth, no matter the color of your skin, no matter what color you are. When you shut your eyes, you see the great womb or the darkness that you came from. So our Most High Creator don't acknowledge any races. You see, you got 7 triangles clear, 7 triangles dark, dealing with the yin yang and is revealing the serpent. Now let's go to Kemet and see what's going to be happening in Kemet. So before you go there, keep this in mind once again. You got your Virgin, and you got your Leo the lion, and you got your serpent. Now let's go to Kemet. So anyone see the significance yet? Of course you do. Leo the lion is the Sphinx. All right, now let me show you what's going to happen with this alignment. Giza and Sphinx, Orion alignment. Think this will be a good one. Don't pay attention to none of their captions. I'm just looking for a diagram. I'm going to explain to you what's happening in my words. You could get it from me. In fact, this is a great diagram right here. You know what? This one is an excellent one right here. How about I save this picture real quick and y'all bear with me? Because now we finna crank it up and go to Kemet and show y'all how important this is. So you see, Leo is the main constellation centered around this event. And like I said, everybody don't look at the stars the same. So some people, like the ancients, they didn't even see Leo. They just saw Virgo with a long rod killing it all by herself. That's why I told you the first deity was simply the mother goddess holding her arms up, meaning victory. Because this was meaning the end of the harvest. Or we going into winter now, which is the second harvest, or the witch's new year, where there are certain plants that grow under the moonlight that don't grow any other time during this time. But they won't tell us what they is. They took us away from all the secrets. And there's a possibility, according to the ancients and some people, saying that it's going to be nighttime for 3 days. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying that I looked at a calendar of the moon for these days, and the moon is going to be gone for 3 days. A lot of people said the sun going to vanish for 3 days. Who knows? If that happened, then hey, it says that the ancients knew what they was talking about. But if that don't happen, it still is true, because there's going to be a new moon, and the moon going to be new for 3 days. And I don't think that ever happened before. If you Google September moon phase calendar and you look at the days from the 19th to the 24th where this event is taking place, you're going to see something that's going to blow you away. The moon is completely going to be gone off of the calendar for like 3 days. And you got to think about those 3 days, because this is the resurrection. This is the open tomb. because the open tomb is the open womb. But now I go over that in previous videos. I'm not going to be redundant. Let's get into Kemeticism at this time. So I saved that picture so we can make it bigger just for you guys. Here we go. So what's going on in Kemet? What was the ancestors trying to tell us? Well, you see Virgo, Leo, and Orion in the sky. Now, I got a different chart that'll get more detail, but this one is perfect for me showing you what I want to show you in relation to the constellations and the pyramids. Now, if you look here, you will see that the Great Pyramid, let me do this all together. It's going to be hard to explain this if I don't get up both of these charts. So let me open one more slide because I want to be thorough. I want y'all to really know. Now, I think this would be a good one to use. Thank y'all for being patient. Okay. Now let's get it in. All right, the sky over Giza is what you're seeing, but the picture you're seeing in the bottom left was from 2500 BC. You can see that the sky was exactly the same or just slightly different. The head of the dragon went exactly at the hands of Judah. Put it this way, what our ancestors saw in the sky in 2500 BC is exactly what we're seeing in the sky. The only difference is where Leo's arms at, Regulus, because he regulate with that scepter, that alignment. Where that was, where his staff ends, wasn't quite at the neck of Hydra. If you understand how the sky is spinning, would be a great year. And each time this happened, that rod get closer and closer to the neck of Hydra. So this is how I'm interpreting this, because I saw one of these charts that show this sky a couple thousand years back, and it has Hydra slightly different. So this is the time where the neck of Hydra will actually begin struck by the alignment. So like I said, this is a special time. This is the alignment like ain't no, that's you can't compare no other ones to this one. Like I said, this is not just the end of the Gregorian calendar, but the end of the Mayan calendar. And it's the end of their ability to sync their fake time system with the Mayan. If you can understand what I'm saying. They can no longer be able to sync their fake time system with the true clock of the earth, which is all of these temples on each continent is a big clock. So all of the cardinal directions on a clock will be 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. And you can look at all of these temples around the earth as each one of them is like a cardinal direction. And you're going to see these things all line up during this time. And it's going to be equal night and day on the earth. And temples that's in darkness going to be aligned to it, as well as the temples in the light time. They ain't going to be able to explain this away, y'all. It's a very holy time. And what we're going to see in the South America during the daytime, these temples going to be aligning with the light of the sun. You're going to also see a second sun by your sun, because we're in a binary star system. But beyond our ice ring is another sun. And it's going to be taking place in this alignment too. This is where you get the whole Nibiru thing. But if you're in the daytime area of the equinox, you're going to, the temples in your area going to be doing beautiful daytime stuff. And during the nighttime, you're going to see those temples do something for the nighttime too. And no matter where you at on the earth, whether it be night or day, there's going to be temples on your continent doing something beautiful in the sky in relation to what's going to be happening in the celestial heavens. The ancestors got temples that's going to be participating in this event. So as above, so below. Each temple on each continent that's aligned with this, whether it's night or day, something spectacular gonna happen. For example, if you're at this temple in South America, you're gonna see the serpent slither up this side of this pyramid. And it's gonna be very beautiful, because when the sun is coming up or rising, for lack of better words, it's gonna almost be like the snake is slithering in on this wall. You can probably Google this on YouTube. I'm pretty sure someone have recorded this event in South America. But what's going to make it so divine at this time is that the serpent is actually going to be visible on the pyramid in South America, as well as in the sky. And it's going to be like a mirror effect. So the ancestors knew what they was talking about. Now, this site has more structures there that's going to be aligning themselves with different parts of this event, you know, like Virgo and Leo. Virgo and Leo. But I just showed you this particular part so we don't be confused, just to get an idea in your head that everybody is going to be in sync and aligning themselves on every continent, and they ain't going to be able to explain that. This is the one thing that they're just not going to be able to explain. When you think about it, this is the divine intervention we've been waiting on. We've been begging the Most High to end this system some way. We've been begging our ancestors to speak to us. We've been begging the ancestors to come back and help us fight this beast. And that's what's happened, y'all. Our prayers get answered on the 23rd. The Most High is helping us, because the Most High is the one causing this alignment. The beast knew his time was short 7,000 years ago, but they thought they was going to be able to develop the technology and dumb us down so much that we would just ignore this alignment. But people going to start asking questions come September 23 and over the next couple of years. This going to actually change the dialogue on the earth and change where we going in science and everything. There's a reason the flat earth movement came about during this time. So the ancestors are speaking to us because they built these temples knowing that their temples would speak for us when the time was right. Knowing that we would put the pieces together. We would put the puzzle pieces together. When you look at the Mayan calendar, it shapes like a puzzle piece. Think of the movie Maze Runner. The Great Walls are coming down. The maze is done. No more days on the rat. We're no longer rats on a wheel. The New World Order is ending, and the ancients is speaking with their temples, and the Most High is helping with the voice of the ancients by turning the stars to show you that their time is over. They will not be able to explain this. Now let's go back to Kemet, because we want to talk about what's going to happen in the Sphinx. Sphinx is Leo. Now the Sphinx is the constellation Leo, and as you can see in this chart, let me make this bigger for y'all, because we can kind of make this a little bit bigger and we won't really lose nothing. All right, there we go. Remember where Hydra, or the great dragon, is. All right, you can't see my mouse pointer, but if you look below Venus, if you go below Venus and slightly to the right, you will see the head of Hydra, and then you can follow his tail all the way down to the foot of Virgo. So once you locate Hydra on here, you can see where we at. You know that the serpent is right next to Virgo and Leo. So locate Hydra, and now we're going to break down to you what's going to be going on in Kemet. Okay? So, Orion, you see where Orion is. Now let's talk about this, because what you're looking at right now, this is not what you're going to see on the 23rd, so don't let it confuse you. This is slightly off. Remember, the moon is not going to be over there by Orion. The moon is going to be under the foot of Virgo, just like I'm showing you here. So look at your dates. This one is for the 23rd. This one is for September 11, all right, which was a very important date. So one day I'll take this chart and show you what was going on that date and why that date is important, symbolizing emergency, being serious, or the Sirius star system, or something severe, where you get the word sever or seven, because we get serious during this time of completion. So keep that in mind, that this is not accurate. The sky will not be this way, but I want to use this to show you the Virgo and Orion, or the Virgo and Leo connection, using this. So it's going to be slightly different. The only thing you need to know is that the Sphinx is Leo, and that the pyramid entrance representative of Virgo. See, the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, is actually going to be in alignment with Virgo, because the shaft, or the tomb of the Pharaoh, will also be aligned with Venus. So you're talking about some mathematical science beyond imagination. The ancestors were so smart that what I'm telling you, if you think about it, is so difficult to do. It's so intricate. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is what's going to happen. And keep in mind, this was 2500 BC, and this was a different time, so it's different. But what's going to happen is pretty much the king's chamber and queen's chamber is going to be aligned to their celestial counterparts. So, for example, the king's chamber, where the middle of the tomb is where your pineal gland is. In the middle of your brain is your queen's chamber, or your pineal gland, the seat of your soul. And in the middle of this picture is the queen's chamber, or the tomb of the Pharaoh. This is throwing you off right here, because they got king's chamber, queen's chamber, and they're trying to show us some on here that is throwing you off. Let me give you a different one. This is more like it. All right. And Rosh Hashanah is another way of saying Isis, or Ashtaroth, or Easter. Easter is Esther, or Ishtaroth, Astaroth, representing the great mother and fertility. So all of this ties into fertility. Harvest time is ending, and it's time for the swelling, or the pregnancy, or the pain, the storm before the rain. When a woman is pregnant, it's painful time. Then her water breaks, and it's time to smile, because the baby is coming from the tomb, or the womb. Well, this is what the Pharaoh is telling us. This is all symbolic to Aquarius. This is all symbolic to the waters above, waters below. This is the virgin concept, the immaculate conception. So the Pharaoh's tomb, which would be your pineal gland on a microcosm dealing with biology, would be aligned to Venus. If you see here in this chart, Regulus and Venus point to the middle of the tomb of the pyramid where your pineal gland is. And this is activation. This here is rebirth, reincarnation. This is said to be the resurrection of the Pharaoh. So when Venus, which is the vein or the canal, the vagina or the virgin, gives birth to Leo, this is why Venus is aligned with the tomb of the Pharaoh. Remember that the tomb is the womb. They're synonyms. In other words, when you're placed into the tomb, you're placed into the womb. When you take your last breath in this body, you take your first breath in your new body. So your last exhale, when you take your last breath and exhale that wind, at the same time you inhale it as a baby being born all over again. We can't cease to exist. We come in and out of existence. And the woman's womb is the portal. And you can see this event taking place on a celestial scale with the rebirthing of the luminaries. Everything have to die and be reborn and come through the womb of the woman. Even the sun and moon got to go through to the tomb, and that happens when you have an eclipse. So when you go into the tomb, that's darkness. The tomb is the womb. And when you die, you're actually being reborn. There's no such thing as an ending, only new beginnings. So the tomb is the womb. And you can see this concept during a Christian baptism. They tell you to close your eyes and they cross your arms across your chest, just like the Pharaoh in the tomb. If you think of a Pharaoh in the tomb, he's called a mummy because he's going to mummy. He crossed his arm, he entered the tomb, which is parallel to the earth plane, and he take a trip, a cosmic journey. It's like a DMT trip. In 9 months, you take your first breath. When you're in the womb of your mama for those 7 to 9 months, and 7 and 9 is very beautiful numbers because 7 is September. This is the celestial year, and 9 is just a spiral. 9 ether is just the spiral of life, how everything coming out of existence in the fetal position. So September is also 9 on a Gregorian calendar. But what I'm telling you here is, when you think of a baptism, the Christian assumes the position that you're going to assume when you get placed in your casket. They're going to cross your arms across your body like the Pharaoh is crossed when he make a mummy. He's going back to mummy. Earth is a plane. So when you go in the ground, what happens to you during decomposition, you don't feel none of this. You go into the dream world while your transitioning happen, and you actually being sucked to the center of the earth. You become light. You become a gaseous state in darkness. And everything that's light is being organized in this reality by the Most High. Helium rises. So whatever you become, you're going to be pulled to the center, your light body. And then when you enter that dark hole at the center of the earth, that's the darkness behind your eyelids. Think about it. When you die, you close your eyes, and the last thing you see is the first thing that you saw. You saw darkness during the first thing you saw when you was conceived in the womb. You see darkness when you leave here. Darkness is the sandwich. It's the bread. When you think of a hamburger, think of the sky goddess Nut. She's the arches at both ends. The bowl tie. The arch is the bowl. The earth is the midway point. So the gateway is the womb, the darkness. And when you close your eyes at death, you open them in that same womb. You close them in the tomb, you open them in the womb. The womb is the tomb. This is what they're telling you with Jesus being born again. The open tomb is the open womb. And it's the MasterCard, the Vesica Pisces, or the new moon and full moon. So this is what we're seeing. This celestial event is going to be telling that same story of dying and being reborn. Time will be renewed or reborn. Remember how we say Mother Earth and Father Time. So if I tell you that Father Time is going to die or end and then be reborn, I just told you that the Son has died and resurrected. The Father is not the Mother. Mother Nature encompasses the entire cosmos because you can't escape nature. She's infinite. Even the Father Time is composed of nature. He can't have time without her moving these luminaries from the center of the earth. Time stops if she quit. If the witch stopped turning the brew and the brew. Think of the witch at the brewer pot, spinning it. That's who turning the luminaries. It's going to be an alignment to remind you she is intelligent and that she's not just turning something. She's creating a vortex, a cyclone at the center of the earth. And it's as above, so below. This magnetic vortex is what keeps us here, is what attracts the man to the womb of the woman so life can come. If she don't do that, life stops if she close her womb. So the womb is the tomb. I don't want to go too deep with that. I obviously can go deeper, but let's deal with the Great Pyramid. Notice all pyramids shapes like an arch or a womb or a delta. So they're giving you the goddess portal on Giza when you see the three arches or three chevrons, what we call pyramids, which is pi. It's a pie slice. Pi, Ra, mid. Ra is the son that she give birth to. The pi is the vagina. The Ra is the Jesus. Ra is what the baby do when he come out of the vagina. He say, he go to crying. That's the lion that roars. Remember, Leo is the lion. Leo is born from the virgin or the vagina. Okay? So Leo is the sun. And when he roars, that's when he come to life. That's when the baby comes out of that vagina from the mother. And he roars, he cries. Okay? That's when you're being born of the spirit. You're coming from the water, which is your mother's womb, and you inhaling your first breath, inhaling the ghost. That first breath that you inhale, that's your spirit. When the baby inhales that wind, that is the spiritual essence or the wind essence. Your lung capacity takes in that air as a baby, and that first breath you take in is the same last breath you breathe out when you die. When you come into creation out of your mama's womb and breathe in that first wind, it fills your lungs up, and that becomes the air that you suck in and breathe out. And your lungs has a certain capacity. When you die, you empty those lungs and you give that wind back to the cosmos, and she sucks it in and spits you right back out. And this is a continuum, a cosmic breath. So you don't stop breathing when you die. What happens is you just breathe the last breath in this body and inhale the first one in your new body. Sort of like a marathon race when the racers are running and they got to pass the baton. You're passing the baton and there is no finish line. You are the dragon chasing its tail, or what's called an Ouroboros. This is infinity. You can't cease to exist, and you're going to keep coming in and out of this realm through the womb of the woman. So this is what the Pharaoh is telling you here. He can only come in and out of existence through the pyramid or the pie, which is the slice in between her legs, which gives birth to Ra, and then ejects him onto the mid realm or the medium earth plane that exists between the underworld and the heavenly realms above. You're in mid realm or Midgard, and you are a medium. To be a medium is to be the greatest thing in the cosmos. Because to be a medium is to be in the now or the present, and whenever you're not here, you're trying to get here. But it's impossible not to be here. When I say you're not here, you always here in the womb of a mother and in the scrotum of a father. You can exist either in a split state or a unified state. The body is the bond. It's the Captain Planet coming together with earth, wind, fire, and all the elements. And when they shoot, think about the Captain Planet cartoon. Each one of those planeteers got an element, and they aim it at a certain point in the sky, and it creates a pyramid, and it creates a point or a tent. And where that point is the all-seeing eye. Captain Planet manifests himself, and that's what you do when you leave the body. you go in a split state. The left brain part of you and the right brain part of you are the negative and positive within yourself. And when you leave the body, you break the covenant or the bond. So you exist in a dual state at the same time being in your mother's womb and your father's scrotum. And at that point, with the law of attraction, you are a magician in the dark. And you are actually making your parents meet in this life so that you can will yourself back into existence. And I can go into that and do a lecture on a Cupid. If y'all are like, just remind me of it. I want to deal with this pyramid concept. Rosh Hashanah is Ashtaroth, which is a goddess that became Ishtar or Easter. Remember, Easter symbolizes resurrection or the open tomb. But the big deception is Christians don't get this science. Christians don't wear the open tomb that symbolizes life or the womb. Christians wear the cross on their neck, which symbolizes death. So they're having a twisted part of this science where they're not getting the full story. This is why they're really worshiping the funeral of the popes. They're really giving their energy to the Ptolemies and the early lords that ruled as Christ. But they're not worshiping the great mother or the true creator of nature. That would be the Christian equivalent of the open tomb, symbolizing life. That open tomb is a womb. You see darkness. And that's a form of them sly way telling you to worship the womb of the woman. But in our time, they threw it off and they gave you the cross. And we was crossed, y'all. So that's how we get the homosexual concepts. They took you from the tomb and gave you the cross, which is the crucifixion of the mother. Remember that the witches who was teaching this knowledge in the old world before they created the new world order, they was crucified and burnt alive. It wasn't Jesus. Let me tell you something, women. You are what they try to make Jesus to be in the Bible. Okay? You was the ones. Listen, there's no species on this earth that went through what women went through. And I'm talking about women of all colors. We got to get past the race war and see the real war is a gender war that they're hiding from you. They're trying to reduce the amount of women. Women outnumber men. Y'all are the portal of, if it weren't for women, souls wouldn't be able to come in and out of the earth. It's the womb between a woman's leg that allowed what's called a human to even exist. What they're trying to do is close the tomb or close the womb. If you look at all the open tomb pictures, what makes them symbolic with the occult is that the tomb is open. When the woman closes her legs, y'all, ain't no life coming to this earth. She controls the dispensation of souls by the portal in between her legs. This is why she was revered more than anything in the old world. What they're doing is attacking Mother Nature, attacking everything that's feminine and putting a male attribute to it. So the gods of today got to have makeup on and look real pretty. Go look at Krishna. He looked like a girl, but it's a man. Look at Ishtar. He's a man with breasts on his doggone chest. They got y'all worshiping she-males. They got y'all in a transsexual society, and you waiting for them to chip you and make transhuman robots, and that's a lie. You transhumanists are going to be a type of human that have no idea of the gender roles because we don't understand as above, so below, and our place in nature, man and woman. Understand how divine a woman is and why she's the most oppressed creature today. She's the most worthless and useless creature today. They call her the lesser vessel, and men will tell you, man, ain't no need for a woman. Most men have a very crazy attitude with women. Like, we don't love them hoes. And think about what a hoe is. A hoe is a garden tool that shapes like a trident, symbolizing balance. It's a groundbreaking tool. Women are being desecrated on so many spiritual levels y'all don't even understand. The hoe is the root word of Joe. But Joe is something that's jolly. Something that's jolly is jolly. Have a jolly, jolly Christmas. But remember that the J is also the H. So the J, when you say something is jolly or jolly, it's also holy or holly. Remember Hollywood, Holywood. All right, jolly, jolly Christmas, or holly, jolly, holy, jolly, jovial, dealing with Jupiter's ascension, because something that's under the influence of Jupiter is jovial. Understand Jupiter's role in this celestial event. You will see that on, I believe, the 20th, which we missed this morning, or it might be the 21st. Jupiter will ascend behind Venus before the sun on the horizon. And if you didn't catch this video yesterday, I talked about Jupiter Ascension, the movie, because in that movie, they showed you this event in the movie. It was a famous scene where Jupiter rose up on the horizon. We're going to see Jupiter ascend on the, I believe, 21st, coming up to this event and this alignment. And every day it starts, this has started from the 19th, it ends on the 24th. Don't wait till the 23rd. Look at the sky every night, because remember in the story, Jesus had to take his cross to Calvary. And then it took the whole event of Jesus dying and being resurrected was a 3-day event. So if you only go outside on the 23rd and look at the alignment, that's like going to see the end of the movie. You missed out. It starts now. It's happening now. You should be looking at the sky all the way up into the 23, so you can see how the mythology is playing out. Because when they say Jesus is carrying his cross, what they're telling you is that prior to the alignment, Leo is going to be dragging his rod, because it's not yet a rod. It's not yet going to be a rod until the 23rd, when all the planets align. Then Leo, it would be the climax or the end, like I was telling you, the great alignment, and it's going to go away. But up into, remember what they told you about Moses, I believe? They said he had a staff or a rod, and he turned it into a snake, and it turned back to a rod again. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be a great alignment and a snake, and then it's going to disappear, and then 7,000 years it'll come back again and align again. But when they say Jesus carrying his cross to Calvary, you got to understand what Calvary is. I'm going to do a whole video on Calvary. But Calvary is this alignment, because what happened there was Jesus was aligned with the thieves, and they formed the pyramid on Calvary. Calvary is chivalry, and it'll translate the chevron, which is a triangle or vector. This is how planes achieve flight. This is very sacred. This is also called a boomerang, shaped like a V. And when you throw it, it comes back to you, because it's a representative of ma'at or karma. What goes around comes around. Is also a representative of a bird shaped like a V. That became the dove, or the Trinitarian aspect. You see, in your reality, you can perceive it first person, second person, or third person. Third person is the God view. So when they say Jesus is carrying his cross to Calvary, that's Leo gathering his planets, or the pieces that's going to make up his rod, to the stage. Leo is the main character in this event, because he's the one swinging the rod, killing the dragon. But don't forget, he can't do it without Virgo giving birth to him. You see, because before this story of Leo swinging the staff, killing the dragon, it was just Virgo, or the great mother, killing the dragon. In some cultures, you can see that when the great mother wasn't killing the dragon, she was actually dancing with the dragon Okay, so if you take Leo away and you got the great mother holding a pole in her hand, dancing with the dragon, and now you can see why women are put on stripper poles today. Everything that the woman do is a spiritual attack on her role in mythology. Women, you got to wake up if you want change. You got to get serious, women. And so think about what I'm telling you before the Christ concept or the Leo concept. There was just the woman, the pole, and the snake. And we see that in our society all the time. We see poles and we see snakes everywhere. We see poles, we see women, we see snakes. Keep that in your mind. Poles, women, and snakes. Keep that in your mind because I want to be symbolic with you today. Poles and women and snakes. And this is what we see all throughout the ancient world again. Women with serpents and serpents wrapped around trees. Serpents getting their head cut off. This right here is the greatest celestial event in history. This is the #1 documented event in history. And no one is talking about it, y'all. No one is decoding it the way you're getting here. So the Pharaoh was telling us something. The serpents and the pole, and the serpent being struck with the pole, and the serpent being wrapped around a woman, or the serpent being wrapped around the pole. If you look at this one here, this woman got the serpents wrapped around her because she's symbolizing Virgo being cloaked in Hydra during this great alignment. She also got her hands in the Omega position like Michael Jordan, like Shaq, like I was telling y'all. If you don't think that they know this, you're a fool. She telling you right there everything that I'm breaking down to you with the horn goddess and the serpent wrapped around her. The 2 3s. What is the 2 3s? Here go your 2 3s right here. A trident above and a trident below. This is the great mother with her hands raised high. And it has nothing to do with Sirius like you see, like they tried to fool us with. This ain't got nothing to do with no Sirius. The people who told you that created the Nibiru concept so they can have this doomsday event. How does it have something to do with Sirius when I'm showing you everybody on every continent said the same thing the Dogon said, but they weren't talking about no doggone Sirius. They was talking about this event, what I'm telling you about the serpent or the beast being slain. You can actually see it right here. You can see Marduk cutting the head off of this flying beast. That's the equivalent of Hydra. If you look at this thumbnail, that serpent is those lions right there, y'all. The equivalent of Satan is serpent. It can be a serpent, a beast, a dragon, but it's still the same constellation of Hydra. You can make it how you want it to be. Like I said, you can make it an earthworm if you want to. It don't have to be a snake, you know. So people looked up their different, and based on their level of consciousness, they created a story by how they interpreted the heavens. And the people who rule us today, they created scary, spooky doomsday stories to cast us into this 7,000-year dark age we've been in. Well, what's happening on the 23rd is the final 7 years of this age. So this is the time of renewal, the time of no time. We're under no time, the tribulation period, or the tribulation. The tribute. This is a tribute to the goddess, but it's going to be a tough time because after this time, she will give birth. This is called Imbolg on the witches' calendar and on the Jewish calendar. So other people call this the Feast of the Trumpet or the Age of the Trumpet. And this is why Donald Trump is president today, because Donald Trump translates to dawn of the trumpet. You're in the time of the end. They've been planning this for the last thousands of years, and everything is scripted. Your whole reality. Trump being president, him controlling the weather under his campaign and causing the floods. He's actually making revelation come. He's the president that's going to fulfill revelation or put us in the Trump era. When you say Trump, it means trumpet or symbolizing a time of a great ending. Remember what the trump is. It means something is trumped or is done for. Finito. You're trumped. You're done. Okay? And what that means is completion. And the number that's equivalent for completion is 7. So all of this is going to be happening in 7 or Septos, September 23rd. They've been studying the stars, linking celestial events to their social events for the past 7,000 years. And if you don't believe me, I'm showing you a pyramid right now where the first pharaohs was doing what they're doing now under Trump. Remember that they built the pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee. And if you live in Tennessee, like my brother, Flat Earth Jamaican, if you can, Jamaican, during this event on the 23rd, I would like someone in Tennessee to actually film that pyramid, because I guarantee you they're going to have some kind of alignments going on with their pyramid in Tennessee as well as Washington, D.C. and the Washington Monument. The elite going to be doing the rituals that the pharaohs did. They've been doing them all along. So the pharaohs created this system. They took the true time system of the stars and took us off that system and start creating calendars that was based around the pharaoh. Now tell me that ain't blasphemous. You got to be a cocky, excuse my language, I'm gonna have to cuss right now because I'm just fucking pissed. I just made myself mad. You know I don't have no love for none of them pharaohs. All of my love for Mother Nature. Let me tell you why. You got to be an ego-filled motherfucker to think you so important that you take everybody on the earth off nature's clock and put them on a calendar that's centered around your rulership. That's what they did, y'all. That's why the calendar fucked up and you got 2 months, July and August, for Julius and Augustus. When men start ruling, they didn't have any regards for nature's rule. When men start ruling, they didn't give a crap about no nature. They rule like an ego-filled rock star that don't care about nothing but stroking his ego. So they casted us out of the age of light into the dark age, meaning when we was kicked out of the Garden of Eden, we was thrown into a time where we was casted out from the stars. When they say we're the fallen angels who fell from heaven, we didn't literally do that. Everything in our life and society was governed by the heavens. But we fell from heaven because we're no longer governed by the heavens. We're governed by the government, by the pharaoh or the president who preside over your mind, or government means governmental. This started with the pharaohs. How was they able to govern the mental and cast us out of heaven? They stopped us from looking at the stars, and just like the pharaohs did, they start creating texts, geographic locations, and tombs that was centered around the pharaoh. So when these celestial events happen, the whole dialogue would be about the pharaoh as opposed to the great mother, which is the invisible energy that's even making the sun and moon go on their circuits. Think about it. How foolish would it be to look at the sun and moon and worship those objects instead of understand that there's a force that created those and that's making them move? Why not pay homage to that invisible source? Because that invisible source that's making the luminaries go on their circuit is what's making your heart beat, is what wielded you into being when you was in your mama womb. That is the hidden one, or the dark energy that eclipses both the sun and moon. So what happened is we lost reverence to that. and we started paying reverence to the Pharaoh. So everything we do, well, everything we used to do was dictated by the heavens. That was when we used to live in heaven. So when you're a fallen angel because you was kicked out of the garden when you accepted the rule of the Pharaoh and the first dynasties. So understand that. I hope I make myself clear. The New World Order started in Egypt, and the pyramid is on the back of your dollar for a reason. The pyramid is in Egypt for a reason. The pyramid is in Memphis for a reason. The obelisk is in DC for a reason. The people who run this USA, they love Egypt. They learn how to rule through Egypt. The pharaohs created an evil system. They create, for the first time, you had a peasant. Remember, knowledge is the real power. You're paid based on what you know. The pharaoh and his family was able to rule the masses by hiding the knowledge of the heavens from them. This created the first peasants, people who was ignorant, dumb. So they was at the mercy of just doing what the pharaohs say. They was at the mercy of those first dynasties or the first pharaonic families. It was then when we traded in our family crest for nation flags. There should be, every flag should be burnt up because nationhood is blasphemous. Nationhood is men ruling over you under dynasties. Before that, you were in autonomous villages where oracles ruled over their village. And there was a committee of grandmothers. And the reason the woman was in charge because nature is a matriarch. She understood the secrets of the plants before the man. Man kicked us out of the garden by hunting the animals and throwing us into a meat-based societies today that destroy Mother Nature. The animals that we eat were very important animals that had certain roles on the earth. And a lot of the destruction we see with it's a chain reaction of us eating certain animals. For example, there are so many deserts today because we eat all of the cows. Don't you understand that the role of the cow was to help Mother Nature seed grass? Yes, cows graze or grass. They graze on the doggone grass and they walk around migrating the earth, pooping, spreading the seeds. That was your role. We had a symbiotic relationship to plants and to the mother. When we ate from the trees, occasionally you swallowed seeds, and when you didn't, you threw the remains on the ground and you planted more seeds. So when nature fed you, you fed nature back by throwing her the hull and the seed down on the ground, because nature ain't got no hands. Nature can't peel the orange and take the seed out of it and plant it in the dirt. Nature depends on you to eat the orange and spit the seed out so she can grow the next tree. But when you're on a meat-based diet, all of the plants, they are missing us. We have a marriage with the plants, but when you're on a meat-based diet, the plants can't reproduce. They depend on us. What if no bees was attracted to the flower for nectar? Don't you know that the flowers emit a pheromone so the bee can come there to help them reproduce? The earth hasn't been reproducing. When we left the garden, it was the male patriarchs who was the first hunters. Don't you see what's going on today? The men that rule the world own the slaughterhouses. Think about it, men. When we have cookouts, who cook all of the meat? The man. Who deal with the vegetables and the spices? The women. In fact, you don't even want to eat meat if it ain't seasoned. When I was a meat eater, the worst thing you can give me is an unseasoned piece of meat. I'm telling you, it's like blasphemous to a meat eater to sit up there and make hamburger patties and don't put no Lawry seasoning salt on it, or don't put no garlic salt on it. You better season that meat. Otherwise, you better get your butt off the grill and let a pro get up there. But listen what I'm saying, family. This show you that in our natural state, we was vegan. You don't have to season an orange. You don't have to season an apple. But in order for you to eat meat, you have to put plant seasoning on it, because your body really craving the plant. Meat don't even taste good to you if you don't season it with garlic or season it with onions. So you got to even make the meat taste good to you with the plant. Why not just eat the plant? So let's get back to this information. We talk about the Great Pyramid, and the pharaohs was telling you everything I'm telling you, everything the pre-dynastic people was telling you. But what did the pharaoh do? He made the whole goddamn event be centered around himself. In the ancient world, we built public, beautiful sites that everyone can go to for these events. In the egotistical New World Order under the pharaohs, they built personal sites for their burials and stuff that was just all about them. And they linked celestial events that the Most High is doing for everybody on earth just for their own selfish behind. That's what the presidents do. They make everything about them, y'all. That's the age we're leaving. We're leaving the age of ego. If you think of the goddess Kali, she's a goddess that kills the ego. She's known for striking down the ego of man. Let me show you how she looked real quick. She symbolizes the end of this age. As you can see here, if you look at this goddess, she is striking the head off of the male patriarchs or the head of Hydra. Remember, before Jesus, it was just the goddess ruling alone. So when you look at, if you take Leo away, what you get is the goddess and the snake going to war. But the snake is equivalent in some cultures of the male ego. That's why we say the devil is evil and the mark of the beast, and I can't wait till the beast system fall. But the beast and the serpent really ain't nothing to fear or to call evil. It's just that the people we call evil today are evil. And they're so evil that the serpent is very holy. And they know that they're so evil. So they link themselves with the serpent. They are the reason you call them reptilians, when really reptilian is a holy person. They're not reptilians. If you call them reptilians, you giving them credit. We're reptilians. Think about it. What is a reptilian? Let's share the screen. This is what they want you to call them. But y'all, they taking our role. We're the reptilians. They want to take our true role and put it in spookism and try to exalt themselves with fear and making you alienated to who you are. Guess what? A reptilian is a half human, half reptile, which is a beautiful creature. It's a beautiful creature. This is a reptilian or a Nagini. All right, half woman, half serpent. They taking our real knowledge and mystifying it, making it into devil talk. Remember that the devil is the diva. It's the lady. She's the great dragon or the serpent. That's why when you look at this picture here, the serpent is aligned with that woman and her rod or her child. Today in Revelation, they say that it's a great war and all of that. But this was really a beautiful story of the mother goddess with the serpent wrapped around her pole. Or in some cultures, when they didn't have Leo, it was the woman with her pole and this snake, and they were all one. In other words, they just merged the serpent with the woman, and what you got was a Nagini, or a serpent woman, or what some people call a mermaid. And she is everyone's primordial deity in all cultures. It's Nuwa in Southeast Asia, and you got a lot of spooky conspiracy theorists going around saying, black people, serpent people. We was born from the snake people, the serpent people. Y'all, it's just a parable. It's not a literal serpent person. So, understand the spiritual science I'm giving you. And let's move on because we're going to crank it up. We're going to go deeper to the rabbit hole. But what I want to do is take some of this stuff down, because once we get what we got, we don't need to keep it up. We can take it off of there. Let's talk a little bit more about the Great Pyramid in Giza. You can see that Leo would be the Christ, and that Leo, let's do this. I'm about to do something that's going to make this very simple, very easy. So thank y'all for being patient. Let's make our little pyramid portion small. All right. And let's use it for a key reference. Now, what are we trying to find here? Remember that the big collage back there is not accurate, so don't let it confuse you. Maybe what I should do, instead of using that one, maybe I should just use this one. Okay, yeah, let's use this one. This is going to make it very easy for me. So, refer to our chart in the bottom right. You see that the tomb is the womb that became Jesus' resurrection story. But before Jesus, you can see the same story told here in Kemet on the bottom right, because that's the open tomb story. When the tomb of the Pharaoh aligns itself with Venus, that's the story of the Immaculate Conception. The planet Venus is the woman, symbolizing rebirth, symbolizing the vagina. And when the tomb of the Pharaoh is aligned with Leo, Regulus, and Venus, that Leo is Jesus. Regulus mean, remember, who's the one that regulates? The womb, or Ma'at. The capital T is Ma'at. Also, Venus, the symbol for Venus is the Ankh, or Ma'at. And also, this is the regulator, because you can't exist without the womb. You wouldn't be here without your mama's vagina. It's the portal. All right? It's that simple. Now, the fact that Leo, Regulus, and Venus is aligned to the tomb of the Pharaoh shows you Christ being reborn through the Venus, or the venue, or the vein, the ventricle, the vagina of the woman. You can see to your caption here in the background, the woman is clothed with the light of the sun. If you read the scripture, it'll tell you about this great wonder in heaven, and a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and upon her crown, and upon her head was a crown of 12 stars. Stop for a minute, let's count them out. They said that upon her head was a crown of 12 stars. If you look at the constellation of Leo, it's 12 stars. Again, before Leo was acknowledged as the Christ, it was simply the crown. The Christ is the crown. The Christ is the crest. And the crest is the bloodline of the family, which goes through the mitochondrial DNA of the woman. In fact, the crest shaped like a vagina or the uterus. And I'll be getting into that in a minute. Before the Pharaoh, everyone had a family crest. After the Pharaoh, you no longer had a family crest. You had a nation flag. And we're leaving the age of nations and flags, and we're going back to the tribe, or the Trinity, which is the root of all society, which is the family or the village. These past 7,000 years, we've been ruled over by royal families, and they have family crests, but they took all of our family crests, and when they did that, they took our inheritance from the earth. We broke the covenant with nature. So what we're going into now is the end of all the space systems, where we know we're not crashing into other objects, where we know nature is perfect and don't attack us, and it was always man or the beast. So what's going on in the sky during this time is also going to be going on in our society. As above, so below. This is real stuff. So this Christ story, Christ is the crown of the goddess. In other words, when a mother gives birth to a son, and that son goes off in life and be successful, she shines because of him. And if you look at her head, the sun is on her head like a crown. And it's telling you the matrilineal aspect of our very reality of how the woman is the hidden power behind the man. You think men rule your world, but it's really evil women who was convinced by those evil men to be ruled over. So women, y'all got to rise up against the Michelle Obamas. It's the woman. Remember, he's the president, but who is she? She's the first lady. So I guess that make him the second man. Think about that. Think about it. A president is not a big title. He's a puppet. He would have a more bigger title than president if we called him the first man. Think about that. Think of how much power that title would have if you had to go up to Obama and don't say President Obama, if you had to approach him and say First Man Obama. And he's not the first man on the earth. Think of how much power is in the title of First Man. Wow, that's a big title. It trumps the title of president. Why am I telling you this? Because he don't have the power. It's always the first lady. Don't you know that Michelle can end his whole presidential career by saying he did something wrong to her in the bedroom? Because she's the hidden power that can knock him down. You never know. You never saw her coming. A woman can destroy you and you don't even see her. Okay, she can knock him down. Matter of fact, if she didn't bear him children, he couldn't be president, because in order for you to be president, you got to have children. So this shows you who give the president his power. It's the woman that qualifies him for his position. If Michelle didn't have his children, he wouldn't have been able to run for president because he wouldn't even been qualified. So it's the woman who allowed a man to rule. And this is what this event telling you, that when the man ruled properly and enforced the law that she laid down and stopped trying to create a law on top of her law, things will be balanced. The women had this whole thing under control in the pre-dynastic world, and that was a law of nature, but man writ his law on top of that law. So his law is corrupted, and his law allow pedophiles to get free. His law allow rape victims to get free. His law allow food to be poisoned. His law is the direct opposite. His law kills Mother Nature. So his law is going to be ending over this next 7 years. The law of man is falling. So we're leaving the time of where we was ruled by the fake history, and what's going to be revealed is the revelation. Remember, the woman is the one that gives the revelation. She's the one who reveals. Think of a marriage. The word reveal comes from the word veil, and the woman wears the veil in marriage, and the man have to reveal her face. She's the revelator. She's the one that gives the revelation. Again, the serpent gave the revelation in the garden. He gave the proposition. He proposed. Think of a man getting on his knee to a woman. You make a proposition to the serpent, and a woman come into your life and bring balance, man, because she's your counterpart. But you must propose. And when you do so, then the serpent speaks. Because when the man get on his knee and say, will you marry me? Then the serpent speaks. She say, I do. And when the serpent speak, the serpent always speak balance. So after that, what you get is a tribe or a trinity, which is balance, a family. Okay. So the Pharaoh and the first families was ruling over us under celestial energy. You can't rule over a people without knowing the knowledge of the stars. This is why the space program and the world religions are in the same bracket, same boat. This is why in the old world there was a big clashing of science and religion, because they both want to patent the Genesis story. The Christians want to give you Genesis, Big Bang, but the scientists want to give you the Big Bang theory. But the truth is, they're trying to create a beginning where there was none. Truth is, you can't trace a beginning or origin back to creation. There may not be a beginning to us. We may have always been. The only beginning is the new world order. Think about it. What existed before the new world, the old world? And that was the only world. So this is what we're in now, is a new thing that's like a storm that just came and went. And 7,000 years is not a long time, because we was in the old world for millions and billions of years that we can trace back. And I would even say, like I said, there's no beginning. So 7,000 years of the devil ruling is like a blink of an eye, just like the Bible say. But he knew he can only rule for a little period of time, because they know this event was coming back around. They only ruling with the globe, with the heliocentric, sun-centered cosmology. Remember that there was early flat earth cosmology that was still sun-centered. So heliocentrism is just about exalting the sun above the mother. Whether you even care about planets or not, or whether you just say, I'm exalting Jesus above everybody, you still exalting the sun. It don't matter if it's the S-O-N or S-U-N. It's all trickery to get you to sun worship. But all sons come from mothers. So you got to go back to the root of the tree and anchor yourself for balance. And you can see the moon at the feet of Virgo showing you that. The moon is the anchor. This is where we get the unk from. When you outline a ship anchor, you get a shield, a sword and shield. And I got a future video on sacred geometry where I'm going to get up on the board and we're going to draw out shapes. And I'm going to blow you guys away. Because when you can see me on a board drawing my shapes, that's when I really give you chills. But stay tuned, wait on that. So let's talk more about this event and more about the great pharaohs in Kemet. Let me check, make sure we still live, because sometimes we go offline and I don't even know it. Let me also look and see. Okay, cool. We looking good. I see everybody in the chat room sucking up the information. And I just want to say thank y'all for joining, man. Imagine me doing this without an audience. Be tough stuff to do. So let's wrap this up with this pharaoh portion of it. And let's move on. There's so much. So we know that Leo, Regulus, and Venus aligned to the tomb of the pharaoh is equivalent to the Christian open tomb story and resurrection. Let's move on. Let me get this off the screen. So while you got to think about what I just broke down to you here, brothers and sisters, and think about what I'm telling you here. This is a very intricate alignment that's going to take place on Giza on the 23rd. All right, now, but here's the icing on the cake. While that's happening in Giza, all right, we can remove all of this now. Remember, the Sphinx is the Christ, or Leo. And Mentaka would be the head of Hydra. In other words, the three pyramids at Giza are in alignment with the snake called Hydra, not Orion. You can link them to his belt. Just like in other cultures, they can link their structures to what's called the Three Kings or the Belt of Orion. But you don't get confused. It's not all about Orion. This is a celestial event that's bigger than just Orion. And I just went over that. So if you can see this spiral here, it kind of give you of how this thing is circling on the horizon. And you can see that if you look at the pyramids of Giza below, they would align themselves with Hydra. Let's before we go, let's do that. Look at Hydra, y'all. Look at Hydra. All right. And just like Hydra, if you look at Hydra, Hydra is the serpent. And right here you see that in South America, The structure they built is focused on the serpent. Think about it. It's all about the serpent, the dragon. When you go to Asia, you got all of these men doing a festival, and they put this dragon costume on, and it's a bunch of people doing this same festival. It's all about the serpent, not Orion. So keep this in your mind. If the ancestors in South America align their monuments to pay homage to the serpent, then why would the rest of the people do different if all of them was on the same page? If the Pharaoh got a serpent in the middle of his headwear called a uraeus, which can also be translated to uterus, because the two-headed serpent is right between the woman's uterus. We're going to break this down deeper. It's all about the serpent, but they told you it was about Orion because they could link Orion to Nibiru and Doomsday. But I'm showing you now it was all about the serpent that they trying to hide from you and get you scared of with all this reptilian devil talk. So Satan is Saturn, which is balance. Now, I'm going to remove this picture. We know that the ancients in South America was on board with this. We see that they was aligning this stuff with Hydra because Hydra parallels the entire alignment. It's the serpent wrapped around the pole. So you got to give Hydra some props. Despite the book of Revelation saying Hydra getting his neck cut off. That's just their story. I can make a story and say, hey, Virgo and Leo and Hydra was all dancing on the pole together. And I can tell the same story and make everybody get along. That's what the ancients did. All the stories of cataclysm, they made it like that to confuse us in science. As above, so below. When they started linking these constellations and celestial alignments and events with cataclysms and fights and wars, then they was able to reduplicate this revelation time with geoengineering. Because you believe these religious texts because they resonate with the soul. The Bible is written off the stars. The stars talk to our spirit. So when we stop looking up at the heavens and get sucked into books and religions and science indoctrination, we are fallen angels, meaning that we are kicked out of heaven, out of the mental, out of our communication with the stars, and we let men interpret it for us. Instead of seeing what the ancients was saying for ourselves. Because what I'm teaching you, didn't no man teach this to me. I had to research and learn it because it's hidden. This is the darkness. You can only get this if you seek it. If you don't seek it, ignorance ain't bliss. Ignorance gonna be your downfall. And nature don't care if you don't know. You're gonna be punished. It's the sad thing about it. Nature don't care if you don't know or not. She giving you signs in the heaven. And if you don't go outside and pay attention, she ain't going to spare the rod. She will not spare the rod. Think about what I said. She will not spare the rod. She'll cut your head off just like she's going to do the Hydra with that rod if you don't align yourself. Words we use like sparing the rod. What are you saying? You're saying spear the rod. When you spare the rod, you've been taught that that means don't whoop your child. But that's because everything we say is opposite. We in a backwards world, family. When you spare the rod, you take a rod and you spear it into something. You stab it. If you look at some of them people in the bushes and stuff living with nature, when they go fishing, they take a spear and they spear the fish. All right? You spear the rod or spare the rod. That's what's going to be happening on the 23rd. So you can pretty much link this event to everything in your reality, this alignment. This is the same alignment that your chakras need to undergo. So this is like micro, macro, cosmic on a whole another level like never before. This shows the fractal nature of our reality like nothing else. So let's get back into this thing. And if I don't have to go over something, I'm not going to go over it. But what I'm going to do, okay, because I was reading this article, it's interesting, but I didn't finish it, but I want to move on. So if you want to finish this article, you finish it. I'm going to put the link out there one time, and there it is. You can save it for later. It's a little short article that shows you how, the sign of revelation being covered up. But the people who made the article, they from Planet X News, and I guess they figuring out the truth too, or they still think that it's Planet X. So people going crazy, man, and I'm here to give you the truth. Planet X mean nothing but X marking a spot. This great alignment is going to be centered around the North Pole. And if you were to look at this, put it this way, we're on the ground looking up at this alignment. But if we was in a rocket thousands of miles above the earth, we would see a bullseye. What you would see is a line going across a dot. And it'll look like a bullseye or an arrow going into a target. That's what you will see. So from the creator's standpoint, that's what it looked like. So when you hear Planet X, it's because X marks the spot. This was also the Tibetan wheel. So, hold on. The great wheel, right? Here you have the great wheel. And like I told you, Mbok is right here. I ain't gonna go over that now because that's another situation. I want you to pay attention to is the shape of this wheel. Remember, you got 3 points at the top, 3 points at the bottom. What did I tell y'all a minute ago? Trinity plus Trinity equals infinity, or E equals MC squared. So a Trinity at the top, which is a E, a capital E, and a Trinity at the bottom, which is a capital E, creates infinity or linear, parallel space, goes on. All right, keep this image in your mind of 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom, and think about the Dogon Kananga. And there's a line. Okay, let's do this. Keep that image in your head, and we're just going to flip through them. I'm showing you how everybody was saying the same thing. So you got your 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom, and a line in the middle. This also can be just a goddess with her arms raised. Okay? So keep that in mind. Understand that we were all saying the same thing. This is the Kananga. The Kananga of the Dogon is the calendar. All right? If you want to take this same concept to the witch world, you get this. Everybody's saying the same thing. So what does all this mean? This is the celestial clock, people. And the hands are moving to the cross sections. Think of a clock on a wall, and think of the minute hand and hour hand making a straight line across the clock. That's what we're going to see. This is the time on a clock where this is quarter time or half time. You go from when it's think about it. Okay, let's think about 12:30 on the clock is a significant time. Add up the numbers. 12:30. What do you get? 6. 12 is 3. 30 is 3. And what you get? 2 3s. Y'all need to understand how sacred this is, what I'm giving you. I told you a trident above, a trident below, Trinity plus Trinity equals infinity. Think of a clock on your wall. Look at this wheel again in front of you. Think about 12:30 on the clock and add the numbers up. 12 is 3, 30 is 3. You get your 2 3s again whenever you're in the horizontal position. Horizontal means linear. It's another way to say infinity, not death. All right, a straight line that goes forever means infinity, and a wiggly line that wiggles forever means infinity. You're just looking at a matriarch, a masculine and a feminine form of eternity. I hope y'all getting that. When you take the straight line and you pair it together with the wiggly line, you get DNA, or needle and thread. They call it the string theory. The males, we're the needle. She's the thread, or the bread, the daily bread, the bread loaf shaped like the sky goddess Nut in the arch. Okay? So when you thread the needle, you create life, or you have sex. But keep in mind of Trinity, infinity, 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom. That gives you life in the middle. Keep that in mind. Think about the clock, because what you're thinking about is 12:30. And on this, that would be from Yule to midsummer. And these are points of renewal. These aren't angular positions. These are alignments. This is when your clock comes in significant times throughout the day. So the height of noon would be 12:30, or mid-noon, the middle of noon. So think about a continuum. Think about how 12 o'clock is the middle of the day. But think about the middle of 12. The middle of 12 o'clock would be 12:30 when you split itself. So yes, 12 o'clock split the clock. But when you split 12 o'clock, you end up at 12:30, which is your two trinities again, because when you split a cell, it multiplies. You getting this? 3 and 3 equals 6 is a spiral, eternity. 6 is sex. So 12:30 on the clock is a parallel position of the hour and minute hand, symbolizing a great alignment. And like I said, 12 is 3, 30 is 3. It's gonna, the numbers in the numerical aspect of math also have a sacred geometrical aspect, and all of the numbers are not only numerical digits, but they're hieroglyphs that if you take the numerical aspect to it and pair it with the shape of the number and the sacred geometry, you get the full story. And that's what I'm doing here. That's why I'm able to give you all of these revelations. Now, if you look at this, another position on the clock going from left to right, or from Mabon to Ostara, what we have is that would be, man, I don't know how to tell time no more. 3, hold up, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Y'all gonna laugh at me. I know you're gonna laugh at me. I'm showing y'all how to math tie it all together like I just did. How I told you 12:30 is your 2 3s. It leads you back to your Kanunga. That the clock actually tells the celestial time, but you got to do it in a numerological way. Meaning don't just say it's 12:30. Add them up to see what really time it is. It's a midpoint during the day. Like again, 12:30 is 6 or sets. Infinity. The middle of middle, meaning the middle of noon. Y'all see how this works? So now let's do it. Let's move on from 12:30 and let's go to 3:45, because that would be from Mabon to Ostara. This would actually be the alignment that's coming up on the 23rd. So we're going to enter Mabon on the 21st, which is tomorrow. So we're entering an alignment on the celestial wheel. As you can see here, this is the wheel of the year. This is the Mayan calendar, the Hunapku. So we're going to 3:45 on a celestial clock. It's going to be, yes, Ostara would be 3, Mabon would be 9. And now let's do some numerology. What's 3 plus 9? 12. What is that? 3. 3 is the number of the great mother, or Ma'at. She's represent the capital T, which has 3 points. So what we're going to is the primordial. We're going back to the point of reference, back to the great womb, back to the darkness, back to pregnancy. We are being born again. Time is being reset. So you could look at this as the celestial wheel or the celestial clock turning. We're reaching a midpoint in time on a celestial scale. which will prove that there is no time, just a circular repetition. Here's something I want you to write down. Linear time don't exist. What exists is circular rhythm. Okay? I'm going to say it again. Linear time don't exist. Linear time started with the Big Bang. Linear time is only necessary in the New World Order. Our ancestors did not have linear time. They had year calendars like the Mayan. Matter of fact, let's take this off of here because we want to look at this in different ways. This is the Mayan calendar, or the celestial clock, the celestial wheel. This is a representation of how the sky behaved over very, very, very long periods of time, and how it finds itself in the same alignments over those big periods of time. Well, this alignment we're about to experience is the most biggest gap in time of an alignment, meaning this alignment take place every couple of thousands of years, and it take a long time for the cosmic wheel to spin. This is the wheel of fortune, okay? And if you look at the Wheel of Fortune game, it's a celestial game where they practice in magic with you. And if you look at the Wheel of Fortune symbolism, it's ancient cosmology. But I'm going to move on here. And what I basically want to tell you is there is no linear time. There's circular rhythm. The ancestors didn't deal with linear time. They dealt with the spinning of the celestial wheel, which creates your concept of time above your head with the luminaries. They was able to get you off the true clock of the earth by changing time with Jesus. What did Jesus do? Jesus split the calendar. He split time by AC and BC. In other words, Jesus did what the pharaohs did. They got us off the true time of nature, and now we're revolving around them instead of the real celestial clock, the North Pole. So you haven't been on a real time for the past couple of years. You've been under linear time, and linear time has a beginning. Therefore, linear time has an ending. So linear time, you can look at it and see its start and beginning. That's different than circular rhythm that we've been under since forever. Circular rhythm is the number 8, the DNA, infinity. It just keep going and going. And it's a perfect balance. So now we're going to be getting back in tune with that perfect balance as their calendar is burnt up. So this new world system and how they've been able to manipulate natural time, giving us linear time, or this new world order system, it's going to fall apart over the next 7 years. And what's going to happen on the 23rd when the beast is slain is symbolic of the next 7 years that's going to take place before we reach the end of tribulation. This is a good time. Think about it. For you to grow a tree, you actually got to disturb the ground. This what's happening. We're breaking the ground, and it's going to be a little turmoil. But then the seed be planted, and the tree will grow beautifully. We're going back to the goddess, but it's going to be some pain, just like pregnancy. So again, we're at 345, which equals out to 12, which we're going back to the primordial source, or the Trinity, or the third person perspective, our pineal awareness. We're going to start interpreting what we see through our 2 eyes with the seat of the soul, and making the most sense we've ever made out of our reality, therefore allowing us to experience bliss. But there's a period of pregnancy of 7 months, which translate to 7 years on a celestial wheel. So after 7 comes 8, and that symbolizes the child coming out of the belly. 8 is the symbol of infinity. 8 is how many points you have on the celestial wheel if you count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But 7 is very important because it's actually what you don't realize is 7 and 8 symbolizes the same thing with numerology. 7 is a corner or an angle, and that symbolizes the end of a degree on the base of a pyramid. You got 4 corners, and each corner is a point where you're not traveling linear, you're bending a curve. That would be equivalent of this wheel spinning. So we're not traveling linear. It appears that way under Gregorian deception, heliocentric deception. Now let me go ahead and finish this out. What you looking at is the great wheel of the Maya. Remember what I told you, 3 and 3 with a line in the middle. Just like we've been keeping this concept in mind, keep it in your mind. Can you see that the Mayan was telling us the same thing? You see 3 points here, you see 3 points here, and your line in the middle. You see the great mother in the middle with her tongue out like Michael Jordan because she's symbolizing the 2 threes or the 2 trinities. Michael Jordan wore the number 23 for a reason. Okay? These are the things that they are teaching these people who are initiated. But now all of us are initiates into that occult secret. All right, so welcome, flat motherfucking power. We know what the elite knows, so I guess we the elite too then. So check this out. Remember what I've been showing y'all. Let's go back so you can see this really clear. 3 points at the top, 3 points at the bottom, and a linear line showing you, where life comes from. In other words, infinity. If you flip this around, it'll be the same thing. It'll be 3 points on the left right here, 3 points on the right, and it'll leave you with a line. No matter how you do this, you're going to get the same thing. You can do 3 here and 3 here, and it'll leave you with a line here because Trinity plus Trinity will always equals infinity. Infinity is eternity. Think about that. Infinity is eternity, and eternity is E equals MC squared. When you square 2 E's, meaning when you take 2 capital E's, put them back to back, make them polarized, you square them in sacred geometry, you create the conunga or the double trident, the queen bee. Now remember that Trinity plus Trinity equals infinity, and the Dogon was telling you that in the middle where they meet is the great mother. So what you're looking at is really the alignment that's going to take place on the 23rd, and in the middle of that alignment would be the North Pole, center of the earth. And of course we know that in the center of the earth that was always personified as a great mother, and she got her tongue out just like Mama Callie. Remember, Mama Callie have her tongue out like Michael Jordan. Mama Callie is also, remember I told you Trinity plus Trinity equals infinity, and whenever you have 2 trinities you're going to have a pole in the middle. I just did that. Keep that in your head when you look at Mama Callie. 2 tridents equals a pole. We got to go to Mama Callie in her original depiction. She only have 3 arms each. Maybe these different versions of her with different amounts of arms mean different alignments and stuff, but I'll get into that later. I basically hold on just a minute, guys, because when you're doing these lectures on the spur of the moment, you have to access slides. So thank y'all for being patient. shooks, man. You know how hard it is to find Callie in her original depiction? Nothing here is original. Let's use this one. All right. You see she has 3 arms on each side, and she's in the middle. She's the pole. All right. Keep that in mind. She's surrounded by 2 trinities. She's actually a personification of this right here. This is why you see in the middle, the tongue is out. So the Maya worship Mama Kali as well, or the mother, great mother. That's her in the middle of that with her tongue out. The Dogon have this as well, and I can show you a picture of theirs. Hold up a minute. Well, here's another version called the Hunaku. And you can see it's simply an X with a line through it. You can see the 2 trinities on each side. It's the same concept all over. All of the ancients had a great mother. Here's the Dogon's version. In the middle, you see the great mother with her hands raised high. And it's a circle surrounded by 2 little quotations. That became your division symbol and a bunch of more symbols. But this is the original trinity, the X chromosome. Remember, when you look at this X chromosome, you're looking at the Hunaku, or the Tibetan wheel. Remember, X marks the spot. Now, what I want to show you, I can't find here, but if you look at this Dogon mask, you can see an X on it. They wear pink for fertility. The Dogon saying what everybody else been saying, but I still didn't find what I was looking for. Keep this in mind, and I'm going to go and open up my folder because I know I got a picture of it for you. Bear with me. And again, thank y'all for tuning in. Let's deal with this. Let's deal with it. Let me show you, for example, thank y'all for being patient. I'm looking for a Dogon file of mine. Here it is. Here it is. Thank you. Got it. All right, let's continue. Keep this in mind, what you got there. Keep in mind what the Mayan, if you look at the head of this deity, look at the head right here. You see that it's eating the wheel in the middle. That's very symbolic. Notice that this mother goddess here on the Hunaku for Buddhism is eating the wheel at the middle. And that would be the equivalent of Mama Kali. Think about this, guys. I want you to pay attention. Check this out. The mouth being open means eat or ate. 8 is the symbol of infinity. All right, you see how her tongue is open like Michael Jordan in the middle of her body, but she's surrounded by those arms with the tongue open. It's the same concept of having Adam on one side, Eve on one side, and the serpent on the tree. Her tongue is the serpent. Remember, it spoke. It says, it slithers. She's the serpent. The tongue is the serpent. It speaks into existence things. So she's telling you how she spoke. She's representative of the night sky. That's why she's black. And her tongue out symbolizes that darkness in Genesis that spoke the light into creation. Okay? Leo comes from Virgo. Remember that. You see her pineal gland shaking like the womb of a woman because it's the Vesica Pisces, where the worlds meet. You get the womb all over again because the womb is the primordial foundation of reality. Okay? So her tongue being out at the center. All right? Keep that in mind. She knocks the head off the male patriarch. Keep it in mind. Her tongue being out at the center is equivalent to this deity's tongue being out at the center. But in his case, the teeth are out. It's the same thing, y'all, because when you eat, you ate. 8 is at the center of this wheel. If you look, there's an hourglass here at the center, and that's the number 8, the hourglass. So they're telling you with the mouth open and by this deity biting it at the center, 8. Remember, 8 is the symbol of infinity. All right. Okay. So I'm back, guys. Thanks for for bearing with me. So the number 8 is the symbol of eternity. No matter how you flip it, when you spin it, that's exactly creates a X or a vortex, a cyclone. Now, what you're looking at is infinity or an hourglass, and we know that for the hourglass to work properly, you got to constantly spin it. So this is the cosmic wheel being spun by the great mother from the center. This is why she's at the center of all of these little wheels, because she's the one doing the spinning for eternity. All right. Now, when you look at this number 8, it's revered in so many cultures. There's a such thing called an African Baluba mask. The African Baluba mask is a very sacred mask because it has the number 8 for infinity around the eye section. And it also have the great mother goddess with her hands raised. Her womb would be the mouth. If you look at the mouth of this mask, that's the womb of the mother goddess. And as you travel upward, you see her with her arms raised, balancing both of these scales, which is the eyes in this case, making the number 8 for infinity. That would be the Milky Way. They're near her breast area. The female breast is the capital B. It's all a number 8 or an hourglass. These are life-sustaining things. The baby got to go and be attached to that breast to keep himself alive when he come out. Everything we do is spiritual science dealing with the woman. And this is a very sacred mask called a Baluba mask. And you can see the mother goddess holding up her hands for victory in the center. You can see the chevron making here, the chevron. There's a gas station called Shell, and they make this shell shape. But that's just the head of the dragon, the head of Draco, which is also the great mother. When you go back to this alignment, remember that the mother merged. She can also merge with the dragon and become a Nagini, because it still tells the same story of this alignment. It ain't like she got to always beef with it. They're just animals used to tell a story. But when you miss the story and let them confuse you, You miss the universal celestial story from by which all the copies came. There's one story that we all can't deny, and that's the story that we're going to see in the sky on the 23rd. Now, from that story, you can start writing all kind of mythologies and myths and shit, saying to make it mean anything, but it means what it means. You can't argue with what we see in the sky. A Christian can say that there's Leo and Jesus, but really it's just stars aligning the ways that the ancestors said they would always align. You're just in a time of spookism where men rule you with fear. So now when you look toward the heavens, you look toward the heavens in fear, because we used to look toward the heavens with bravery and comfort, knowing that Nook the sky goddess got it all under control. Looking at the sky is supposed to comfort you. But when you, in our age, we look toward the sky and get scared because we broke the covenant with the goddess. So I'll be doing a future lecture on this Baluba mask in the future, because you can see the Vedic cosmos. You can see a lot of things in this mask. That mask is really cosmology, but I'll go into that later. I just want to show you how that relates to the figure 8. All right, so, you know, infinity can be translated to so much, because infinity means renewal, rebirth. And what they say you are an infant. So you are called an infant because you come from infinity. So you are in your infant stages, because infinity means rebirth, and you're at your new moon during this time, or your new moon. You're being born again. That wouldn't be a new moon. That'll be the first phase after the new moon. Phase 1. The crest, the moon crest. You see? So infancy is linked to infinity for that reason. The goddess on the moon crest is just telling you the story of man being reborn and reborn through the womb of the woman. And again, this number 8 is the hourglass. And you can see that hourglass on every polarity throughout this wheel. For example, you got a triangle here, its polarity will be here. They will always form an hourglass or a Masonic bow tie. I hope y'all can see that. The tie is in the middle. This hole in the middle would be the equivalent of the Masonic bow tie. I hope y'all see what I'm talking about. Give me a minute. All right, let's get some more slides up here. You can see your bow tie is nothing but the hourglass. Your bow tie is also right here. You see? This Vesica Pisces is the crucible of the creating process, an opening to the womb from which all geometric forms are born, a symbol of the fusion of opposites and a passageway through the world's apparent polarities. When you get past the polarities of left and right, you go to the pole, the geometric image through which light was born. Also the geometry for the human eye. Why? Because both of your eyes are polarities, but the way you see can be looked at as the Vesica Pisces, because both of your eyes form a point or a trick or a pyramid where you focus your sight on it and you look at that object with two eyes, but both of those eyes are looking at the one object that you focus your attention on. It's called attention because your eyesight makes a tent or a pyramid. You're actually making a pyramid every time you look at something, because your sight is coming from your left and right eye merging into a point, and you're focusing that tension, or you're paying your attention to whatever you're looking at. So you're allowing things into your soul when you look at them. That's why they say, hear no evil, speak no evil, and especially don't see no evil, because you will be scarred with that mental image. We are spiritual creatures in a spiritual realm. And what we see here in all of our senses is being used against us to create the matrix. So how we see is with the third eye, not with the two. It's the one point that focuses. And when you look at something, you interpret that object, you're making a diamond. So think of this. Think of sight coming from your eyes, making a point onto whatever you're looking at, and you're interpreting what you're looking at with your mind. So whatever you're looking at, you're processing the object with your third eye, which sits in the middle of your forehead. So this whole act of looking at something and interpreting what you see creates a big diamond, because your eyes are creating a triangle by looking at an object, and your third eye is trying to interpret it what it see, and it's in between your two eyes in the middle of your brain. While your two eyes focuses on that object, your third eye reveals what it is, and it's a big diamond. Because from your two eyes, and you draw a point to your third eye in the middle of your skull, you get a pyramid. You're also looking at an object making a pyramid, so it's a diamond. It's two triangles inverted. You looking at it and thinking about it. So the whole diamond will be destroyed if you just look at it and don't think about it, or if they get you to look at something, then they interpret it for you, then it never enters the seat of your soul, because you're being indoctrinated. So you don't even process the information, you just memorize it. And that's how they create the matrix. But all of their world is created by hiding the truth. Now what's going to happen is they'll no longer be able to hide it, because nature intervening, and the ancestors are intervening, because all of their calendars, all of their temples are going to tell the story on nature's behalf and speak to us that, hey, this is a perfect creation, and man is the only one been doing the destruction. So think of a Masonic bow tie. Think of an hourglass. Think of the celestial wheel. It's called a bow tie because it ties the bows. It ties the bows. The bowl is the arch. The arch is the Trinity. Think about it. For you to make an arch, it has to be 3 points. I don't know if you, let me show you something. Here's an arch. Let's use this one. It's always going to be 3 points, brothers and sisters. 1, 2, 3. Even if you make a dome arch, it's 3 points, people. It's 3 points. It's the same thing as a pyramid. So when you look at an arch, think of a trident. Okay? If you outline a trident, you get a house or a capital A. It's all the symbol of balance. If you outline this trident, you will get a house or a capital A, the arch. That's the sky goddess Nut. All right, if you outline that, you get her, the arch. All right. Now, what you're saying is just one aspect of the cosmos. We're in a diamond, and there's an inverted section of Nut that's making the number 8. If I could, I would draw this for you. Matter of fact, bear with me. I'm gonna do something for y'all real quick, just because you're so special. All right, bear with me. Okay, thanks for bearing with me. I'm showing you how is more to the cosmology than Nut and Geb. I'm showing you how the number 8 ties into it for infinity. Why the number 8 is infinity? Because Nut and Geb are, our cosmos is linked to waters, and waters show a reflection. So whatever you see, there's a mirror opposite for it. And that's how you get the number for infinity when you go ahead and polarize or turn this into a yin yang by inverting it. All right. So what you have is something similar to this. All right. The number 8 is A for alpha, alphabet. Okay. This triangle is the alphabet A. When you take this alphabet and marry it with itself, unify it, duoct, this is weaving. So let's rotate it. This is what you live in, and a diamond, there's a mirror reflection of the earth. And they show you this all over certain Masonic architecture. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, here's a good example. When we build architectural structures near water, it's a cosmological ritual. They have some bridges that cross large bodies of water, and it'll really confuse you, man, if you're at sea, because you'll be thinking that you're sailing your boat into the sky below you, and it can be confusing if you stare at it too long. And it's like, wow, am I upside down or downside up? This is how our reality can be seen. There's a subtle version of everything, and this is as above, so below. So when you look at the Washington Monument being built by water, they're showing you as above, so below. In other words, here's the concept. It's the anchoring concept. The tree of life at the middle of the earth. All right. This is also, of course, the Jewish star. So this is how you really add. And again, I had this picture up here because Jesus is Leo holding a rod, slaying the great red serpent. And when he do that, he's going to cast the serpent out of heaven. Meaning that this whole alignment is just going to dissipate. The star's going to go away. And I told you in the previous one too, you need to really look at the previous video. Be thorough with the series. So when the alignment is over, of course the devil is going to be kicked out of heaven, because Hydra is going to go away. Simple. That's so simple. So when you see Jesus kicking the devil out of heaven, yes, Leo dissipating Hydra. Now let's close that. And here we're going back to the great wheel. We showed you how the hourglass and bow tie into this great wheel. You're pretty much looking at a bow tie, a tying of the bows. And the shape of our cosmos is a echo, the human body shaped this way. There is also a system of actions. Pretty much everything we do assume this formula, this concept of as above, so below, and Trinity plus Trinity equaling infinity. The Mayan calendar that you see there everyone had it. It just wasn't limited to the Maya. Now that medical symbolism you see there, don't worry about it right now. We'll come back to it and I'll break that down to you. Let's stick with this, what I have in paint. Let's do this. Thank y'all for being patient. I'm going to blow you away right now. Okay. Let's get rid of this image. And hold on, guys. I gotta get some new slides out for you so we can go ahead and come home with this. So hold on 1 minute. Doggone it, I'm so unorganized. I hope I start generating a little income from this some kind of way. And I'll be making y'all quit y'all jobs, because hey, you could come help me tell the truth. We ain't gonna make a lot, but shit need to be done. If everything was in its natural state, see, the end of money is gonna be another thing that happens. They're gonna end the money currency. So that's why they want this new world currency. Because it's gonna be a new current or new energy. And they're gonna need new money for this new time, for what they trying to do with control. All right. I'm just still setting up here for you. So bear with me. I'm setting up a scene right now that's going to drive home everything I taught you today before we go. All right. We're going to rotate this to the right so I can show y'all what's going on. And then we're going to blow it up, because I want you to see how the number 8 is the missing puzzle piece. You see this Mayan symbol shaped like a puzzle piece? It's shaped like a bow tie, or the number 8. All right. Hold on, guys. Let me take a little quick 1 minute break. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back, y'all. What I'm about to do now, I'm gonna let us leave on a note. I'm gonna give you some visually for your mind, for you to see. Hold on just a minute. I'm gonna have to paste from you guys are so patient. I really appreciate you. Okay. I got like hundreds of folders, and each folder got hundreds of folders inside of it with hundreds of pictures. And when you talking about somebody that's not organized, listen, any kind of woman who follow me will be mad if she came in here. She'll say, now, Bro Sanchez, with all your knowledge, this don't make no doggone sense, boy. You need to be more organized than this. All right, here we go. There's only a couple of items I need off of here, so I'm going to cut those out, and we'll get rid of the rest. 8 is A. 8 is H. If you look at the number 8, it looked like a capital H, and when you say H, you say 8. 8 is H. They are both divine symbols of balance. A capital H is like one of the most balanced symbols on the alphabet chart, besides the A itself, the arch. Okay, and the omega is the O. It's the most balanced symbol. Y'all got to see how when you look at alphabets and you look at these things, you have to look at the shape of it, look at it as a glyph, and look at how stable it is, and then look at its numerical value and add it all together to get the truth about this number. All right. I hope y'all see what I'm doing here and how everything is the same. All right, this Mayan puzzle piece, which you call the Mayan calendar. Let's move this to the side. What you see in the top right corner is the Dogon cosmic wheel. Remember, I just got through showing y'all all of those wheels with the 3 points at the bottom and top. And I told you it's X marking the spot, or the symbol of Earth. What you got to realize is that X marks the spot, bull's eye or bell eye, ball eye. And this is going to be the alignment that we see coming up. Now, the missing puzzle piece is the Mayan calendar. And it's shaped just like a puzzle piece. And it's the goddess with her arm raised. And it's the equivalent of the Dogon Kananga, like I showed you. And another way you want to look at that is they give you a symbol called an Earth grid symbol. Now I'm going to blow you away right now. Check out what I'm about to do. The symbol you looking at is the Earth grid symbol. Hold on. Let's zoom out so we can get some more space. I'm finna blow y'all away right now. Watch this. I'm going to make the hair on your skin stand up. I'm going to show you how no matter what you do, when you go to the center of an object, you can't escape the Great Mother. Now, this is supposed to be the ball Earth, and it's showing you longitude and latitude on a ball Earth. But let me show you something. Look at this, y'all. Let me get my, some of y'all already see it without me even highlighting it. Let's see how open your third eye is. Check this out. Let me get my brush out. How open is your third eye? Can you see the Great Mother with her arms raised? Can you see her? Let me get a brush that can color good. How many of y'all can see her? I ain't watching the chat, but give me a flat power if you see the Kananga, if you see the Great Mother. I hate paint, man. They giving me these brushes, man, that's coloring on some. God damn it, man. This sucks. They have no good brushes in paint. And I'm trying to color this so y'all can see it. I think green should stand out pretty good. Give me a minute to fill it in for people who don't see it. I know it's taking a minute. Give me a minute. And I'm not the best artist on the earth. Do the best I can. You can't hide the mother to those who know what to look for, because they can't escape ancient cosmology. They can only reinterpret what the ancients said with their deception and get you not to see it. But the people who know it, there is really no way you can take. Hold on, let me finish doing what I'm doing. Anytime you deal with cosmology and you try to create the earth the way they doing, you're going to have the truth there. Now that you see the Great Mother, she's always at the center of the cosmos. Y'all, I've been studying this stuff for so long, and if you think I'm revealing something to you now, you haven't heard nothing yet. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be one of those martyrs that they kill. They're going to say he a threat. He know more than what we know. And we in the occult. So I'm going to put these side by side, and I'm going to also show you, this is the number 8. This is the bow tie. It ties the bows. What bowls, Brother Sanchez? Why you keep saying it's a bow tie and it ties up the bowls? Where you have a, hold up, you have a bowl here at the top. Oh man, paint just is, yo. You have a bowl at the top. You have a bowl at the bottom. And what ties the bowls together is the great mother at the center of the earth. Just like what ties a pineapple together is the stalk that cuts through the center of the pineapple. It's a tying of the bowls. And this happened on so many levels because we're in a fractal reality. What ties our reality together is darkness. In between sleeps and blinks and life and rebirth. And that darkness is equivalent to this symbol at the center of all cosmology. It's the great mother you see here with her tongue out on the Mayan calendar. You see where she is on the Mayan calendar? It's that line I told you that's in between two trinities. When I told you Trinity plus infinity equals infinity, dome plus dome equals earth. Where life constantly, there'll never be a time where babies ain't being born. We're in infinity. Earth is a spiritual realm. There's nothing physical about this place. I'm telling you right now that the spiritual and physical realm are not separate. You are a spirit. You are a spirit. And you come in and out of existence. In fact, that's where we get the word abracadabra from. Because the Nibiru star or planet X is nothing but the X chromosome, which you can see is this Mayan calendar. You can see that the Dogon Kananga, that the Masonic bow tie, that the phases of the moon over time creates a big X marking the spot. You always are born into sin or center. You're born into the center of your mother. Then when you come out of her womb, you're born into the center of the cosmos. You can't escape the center when you're inside of infinity. Anywhere you go in infinity, you're at the center. So if you look at Geb, he is the line. He's the line. All right, he is the line that splits the bow, or earth, the heart. No matter if you make him a male deity or a feminine deity, we know the early goddesses, it was all matriarchal. Don't let it confuse you. But dome plus dome equals home. Dome plus dome equals home. The ground beneath your feet and a lid above your head is what allow earth to be stable, solid, perfectly balanced. And the number 8 can be represented as infinity or an hourglass or a bow tie or a bow tie. You notice where Nut is, she's the arch. And that would be the bows. Or if you look at, matter of fact, let me get one. All right, hold up a minute, y'all. Hold on 1 minute. Here we go. Yeah, my computer getting slow because I got so much stuff open. This the best I can do. You see how we're enclosed with a bowl above us and it's a bowl up under us that's holding us up? It's a beautiful thing. You see the bowl that's called the underworld? It's a cosmic sea called a great deep. And everything, all of this land, all of this earth land is a big ship. All right? Water is the most stable foundation. Water is equivalent to the number 4 because water is the foundation of the earth. God don't make 4 corners like man. God has us founded on a great sea. And we know water is great for foundation. This is why a great ship can sail and it won't sink. So we're on a plane called Earth, but plane can translate to ship. All right. So this underworld bowl is a great deep, and can't none foundate this land like water. Water is called aqua, and qua is for. So now you see why for is FOU, and for is foundation, and for is fountain. Okay? Fountain, dealing with water. The water is the founder. Who is the one who personifies the great water? The mother goddess, the mermaid, the Nagini, the reptilian. All right? This is what you were. You were a Nagini. That was the spark, it was the sperm. And you found your cosmos in your mother. This is beautiful stuff. This is the ball being lanced. This is the binary code. And this 8 is the A, is the H. 8 is H is the 8th alphabet. It's really the alpha and omega. Okay? The end all be all and all the phases of the moon. When you shoot a bow and arrow, when you pull back on it and let that arrow fly, that weapon takes on all the phases of the moon. At the most tense point, when you pull the string back the farthest it can go, that's full moon. That's a full moon. When you shoot it and the arrow is no longer there, she's resting that tense. Remember, the tension is what make the arrow fly. So when you pull on it, that's magnetism. That's magnetism. That's feminine. And when you pull that bow and arrow, you just created all of these symbols in front of you. All right. In fact, I just had the picture up of the goddess pulling the arrow. You can take it and look at it yourself. But when you pull it, you create tension at the center. That's what's happening at the earth, at the center of the earth. Tension is tent or pyramid. All of the tension is in the center, starting from the peak and going through the middle of the structure where the great tomb of the pharaoh is. So tension, 10 is Zen. This is Zenchen. When you say 10, the T can be Z. That's why you say dozen is dos is 2, Zen is 10, you get 12. So 10 is Zen. It's not attention, it's ascension or ascension. Y'all remember the ascension movement? That's where we're at now. We're in the age of ascension or attention. We're going to be paying attention to the Most High. And it's going to be a tense time because we have not been paying attention to the Most High and have been developing a structure around our ignorance. So when this building falls, it's going to be violent. It's going to collapse. But what's going to come out of it is a tent, a foundated structure that nature always intended. So attention is ascension or ascension. All right. Remember, we are all citizens. Citizens. You're a citizen because each human is a temple or a 10 pole. You know, a 10 pole, a tent pole. Remember, a tent is founded by the pole in the center. And if you look at the number 8 right here, the pole is in the center. If you look at all of this stuff, the pole is in the center. If you look at the Kemetic cosmology, the pole is in the center, which is Geb or the masculine. We're the masculine, man. She's the feminine, the curve, the 9, the spiral. And remember, the 9 is nothing but what? Let's take this off of the screen for a minute. And let's draw a 9 right quick. This how you do a 9. You start with an egg and then you draw a line. What am I telling you? She's the alpha and omega. She's the spiral, the masculine and feminine that just keep on and on and it start to look like musical notes out the while or DNA. You see, she's an ongoing spiral of masculine and feminine. When you hear Alpha and Omega, that's what the woman is. Don't you know when you was born, you was a female first, man? You was a female first, you men. And you have to go back to primordially what you are. When you hear me say tap into your divine feminine, it's not no gay stuff. It's you being creative and getting in tune with the darkness. Your spiritual energy is your spiritual energy. Spiritual is spiritual. And that's feminine or curvy or the serpent or the flower of life or what they call cursive writing, because they want to curse this style. Remember, women are curvy. They're curvy. And when you write your signature, you write it in cursive. And your signature is what create your seal. All right. This is how you sign stuff to make it authentic. They won't let you do it in regular print. You got to do it in cursive writing, which is your signature. But why is this writing cursed? Because cursive writing derived from the flower of life. Cursive writing is the cure. C-U-R, the curves is the cure. Curse, what was cursed was the cure. The woman that was our cure, but she was cursed. But she is really the cure. It's not a curse, it's the cure. What they told you was the curse is really the cure. Okay? So the 9 is the binary code. After 9, you go to 10 again, or 1. You start all over again, 0 and 1. Then back to 1 and 0 after 9, because 9 is the 1 and 0. 9 is the binary code. 9 is the end. Really, what I'm telling y'all is 7 is the last number on the chart. This is how numbers go. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, stop. That's 8 digits total. 8 is the number for infinity. But it ends at 7, which is even. See even, split even. All right? The number of completion or the corner, the angle. So when you talk about feminine, when you say something is feminine, always remember that the last words of feminine is 9, because 9 is a spiral. She's the curve. And 9 is the binary code, the 0 and the 1. They all remember, when you look at 0, the 1 is hidden within it. Just like the cosmology I just had on the board. Doggone it, I should have screenshotted that. It was a good collage. Now I can't get it back. But I think y'all get my point. Let me, I can go deeper on this when I say the 0 and the 1. But I don't want to put too much on 1. I don't want to put too much on 1 film. The symbol you're looking at right now is the symbol for the earth symbol. This is X marking the spot. And if you look at the Dogon Kanunga, they telling you right there, all right, this is the symbol of earth to the left. That's nothing new. That's the cosmic wheel that I just showed you that the Mayan and everybody else had. Remember, what the Mayan had was a wheel with an X on it. Trinity plus Trinity equals infinity. If you need me to expound on this, stay tuned. I'm going to have a Q&A sessions. So let's continue this. What we're looking at is the same thing. The bull's eye, target. X marks the spot. But where look at where X is. Look at the Dogon. Let's just look only at the Dogon here. Hold on. Let's do this. What I want you to think about is this. The Great Mother is at the center of the earth. That's the North Pole. If you look at the Dogon cosmos to the right, you see the Great Mother at the center. You see her face. It's a beautiful little brown face. I love this thing because it's handmade. And you got to respect this type of art. brothers and sisters. So you see where her head is also where you have a bird and a serpent. There's your Holy Ghost and your Trinity aspect. All right? And all at the center. You weren't born into sin. You was born into Zen. You was born into center, in the center of your mama and in the center of the cosmos. So when you look at this earth symbol to the left, they gave you that to symbolize the earth. And we say that's the earth symbol today. But what they took off was the great mother. So they gave you a symbol of the creation without the creator. You got a symbol of the creation without the creator to the left. But when you go to the Dogon, they got the great mother back on her throne. And that's what y'all got to help me do over these next couple of years, is to spread these teachings just the way I'm doing it. Don't add and take away. Keep it balanced. Only say what the ancients were saying, because what I'm saying can't be argued with. It's not my teachings, and you can't say it's wrong. They took the great mother from the center of our cosmos, and when they did that, they separated us from nature. It's like snatching a baby from off their mama's arm. Now everything you get from nature got to come through them, through their money, through their grocery stores. Even the knowledge you get about nature has been hidden behind these bastards. And it's people like me that's coming today to give it to us back, to give it back to us. So the Dogon was spot on, and they had they symbol way before they came up with this earth symbol. So this earth symbol that you see is a symbol of the creation that lacks the creator. And that's the foundation of heliocentrism, is giving you a creation without the creator. That's how you get the Big Bang. In all of the ancient flat earth cosmologies, you got the goddess showing you in their cosmology the creator who created it. How do you have a creation out of nowhere? So when you look at this earth symbol right here, it's also this symbol. Okay? It's also this symbol. So it's the X marks the spot. It don't matter because the X is outside of the circle. It's the same symbol dealing with the divine feminine. Look at the Dogon example to the right, and it's simply a circle with an X inside. The earth symbol, what I just showed you, the symbol of earth. For Venus, the reason you have the X outside of the circle is because Venus represents the journey. Venus represents the venue. Venus represents the sperm and the egg trying to unite inside of the mother. So when you get the symbol for Venus, it's similar to the earth symbol, but you're looking at the earth from a different view. It's all dimensions involved here. When you put the X inside of the circle, it's like putting the baby inside of the stomach of the mother. But the symbol of Venus is like the soul willing itself back into creation through the mother. That's why Venus translates to venue. She's the portal, the gateway. The abbreviation VEN means van. So when you say infinity, you're really saying infinity or divinity. Divine is van or divine, intervening. Remember, a venereal disease is something with the woman vagina, but something that's venerable is holy. Think about the words we use. A vendor, okay? Think about these things. A vent is a canal that allows things to go in and out to keep the balance in the building. A vent, a vein is a canal. So a ventricle. Venus is venue. The venue, women, you are the Venuses, the venues, the portals by which all life come in and out of existence on the earth plane. So that's why you get this symbol for Venus. And when you go back to the earth symbol, well, you've already solidified in the womb of your mother X marks the spot. You are all at the center of the cosmos right now, dependent on Mother Nature for survival. And you see her and the Dogon art on the right. But this earth symbol here, the mother, she's the black hole, because that X, where that intersection is, there's a dot. She's the black dot. And that dot is the point of singularity that casted the tent, that pitched the tent. She's what makes the male get on hard or get aroused. And if she stopped doing that, there'll be no more babies. It's her magic and her magnetism that keeps everything like a figure eight, eternity. In and out of her womb coming here, and her macro representative is the earth itself. X marks the spot. Remember that L is 7. The alphabet L is 7. And 4 L's will create a square, which is 360. But 4 7s will give you 28, which is 10, which telling you this is how you make a tent, by making a base of 4 L's. Okay, so when you look at this, you got 4 vaginas. That's the Elohim, or the 4 L's. These 4 pie slices are the 4 corners, or the 4 winds of the earth, or earth, water. Let me show you what they are. Think of this concept of 4. Think of 4, right? 4. 4 is the foundation. What are you talking about, Brother Sanchez? The X chromosome. The X chromosome. You see, it has 4 points. This is the foundation of all there is. It's the base of the pyramid. And I gotta let y'all go here, but I want to make sure you're grasping me. All right, you're looking at different symbols and different processes of you coming in and out of existence in different areas of the cosmos on your own time. In other words, when you leave the flesh, you exist as the sperm and the egg all at the same time. You exist in a dual state trying to remarry yourself. That's how you get the symbol for Venus. You exist in a dual state, and you at the same time you exist as a sperm and your daddy. You exist as the egg and your mama. But the sperm is nothing but the power that activates the Akashic records, which is the egg has the memory. The egg is the motherboard. The egg really is who you are. When you leave this earth, your consciousness goes into the egg of your mama, and it awakes to be activated by the spark or the sperm of your daddy. So the robot was programmed how to walk and move, and if you press some buttons, it'll say, yeah, G.I. Joe. And if you press this button, it'll say, yeah, here we go. The robot was programmed to talk and to do everything, but if you don't put no batteries in it, it's just going to lay there. So when you leave the body, you lay there, and you exist in a dual state of a robot without the batteries in it. But through the law of attraction, guess what happens? The batteries start moving and being attracted to the hole inside of the robot. Remember that the battery have to go inside of a dark hole, just like the sperm, which is the battery, have to go inside of a dark hole called a womb. And it actually, what happens in the hospital is they can shock life back into you. They can say, clear. And that's what happens to the egg inside of the woman. The sperm is not the consciousness. The sperm is just your pure energy. But the memory of who you are is in the seed. The seed holds the DNA. It knows to become a watermelon. But the sunlight activates that consciousness in darkness. The sunlight penetrates the soil of the dirt. And the light of the sun penetrates darkness and activates the consciousness of that seed. That's you being a Cupid with the law of attraction. Your parents don't make you. Your parents don't choose you. You choose your parents. This is, all of us are dark magicians. So this symbol of Venus is the venue. You trying to get the earth. When you finally get the earth, you're in the middle of the cosmos. That's why it become the earth symbol. When you finally make it the earth X marks the spot. You where you need to be, just where the doggone showed you. But why are you trying to get here? You exist as Venus because you're on a venue. You're on a journey. You're in a dual state, left and right brain. Your left brain goes to the father. Your right brain goes to your future mother. And it's all about you having your own eclipse, sun and moon, marrying the two to go back just like I showed you to the Vesica Pisces. Hold up. All right. And you trying to marry yourself. And when that happened, there's a horn being blown. That means a baby just came out of the womb from his mama. The bull horn is blown. You come out roaring like a lion because you're Leo and your mama is Virgo. All right. And that's how you come out the womb. So Venus is a symbol that shows you where you are in the cosmos. X marks the spot. When you look at the symbol of Venus, the X is going to be on the bottom or the top because you travel through the underworld and heavenly realm above. So the symbol of Venus is an X showing you where you are at the time when you're in your Venus time, which would mean reincarnation. Just like you see the planet Venus aligning with the tomb of the great Pharaoh. So his rebirth is he's going through Venus or the vein of the woman. And his tomb is the womb. So when he's not on the earth, he's traveling or taking a cosmic journey through those waters of the woman womb. And when her water break, you lose the covenant with your mother. Creates your first house for you with her stomach, and her belly becomes an arch. That's the roof over your head. That's your first house. Before you even come onto the earth, that's your first house. She make it out of her body. But that's a covenant. Your home is a covenant. A trust agreement that you got that the structure is stable and it ain't gonna collapse in on you. So when you're a baby, you don't question the stability of your first home being the waters of your mom, the arch that she made for you. You're so peaceful inside of her. You sucking your thumb, waiting to be born. But when you're born, you come onto the earth in fear that the Creator didn't create a stable earth for you. And that's what we got to get out of. So X marks the spot. Venus shows the journey of the soul. So if you look at this symbol now, the equivalent of this would be, look what an X was now. X was above the circle. And if you look above Nut, let me blow this up. If you look above Nut in this art, you will see exactly what I just told you. Gentlemen taking a spiritual journey through the waters. You're going to go through all of the elements, water, wind, fire, and even light. All right? When you decompose, you're going to assume your subtle body, and you're going to be magnetically attracted back to the mother in the womb. And that journey takes place through the waters of the fetal sac. It's a 7 to 9 month journey. And that's where we're at now in Septos, which is the 9th month in the Gregorian calendar, but 7 completion. 7 is heaven. So when you take that journey, okay, take that journey, remember where those guys was just at on the boat. All right. Remember where they at on this boat taking that journey with Nut. They're on top of an arch with water there. And in ancient cosmology, there's waters above, waters below. But X marks the spot. They're in their Venus journey. Those guys are going through the vein of Nut. They're traveling the outskirts of the vein. And when you talk about that journey, you travel through the stars on the inside of her body before you reach them waters. We ascend, and then we're baptized again through the water of your mama's pregnancy, fetal sac. So when you see the symbol for Venus, it's showing you that during this phase, you're in the phase of recreation. You're on a venue. You're on a journey. And when you make it to where you're trying to get to, bam, X marks the spot. We're all here now having this conversation. And this is the symbol of where we are. And you come from, again, a miniature cosmos in your mama. Now, I don't want to make this too long, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end it off, people. But let me make sure before I go that I'm not missing nothing. All right. I felt like I put in a lot of work today. I'm just closing out slides I don't need and showing you stuff, because sometimes I end the live stream and then I'll be like, whoa, I forgot to go over this. So what you see here is Artemis with the moon crest on her head. Again, that became the horns of the devil. Remember that the Omegas do the symbol of Omega with their horns like that, and the symbol of Omega is the cosmos, and the horns is the, see, let me show y'all something. Earth's magnetic field. Of course, we don't live on a globe, but when you see this, you're going to see the symbol of infinity. Remember that number 8 I was just telling you about on the Beluga mass? NASA knows what I'm teaching. They don't want y'all to know it. That's why they're giving you this crap, to throw you off. They just giving you the number 8 going around the earth, because at the center of our earth circle, energy is being emitted. You know what I think it looked like at the center of our earth? I think it's a big pillar of just jet black darkness, dark matter, or the stuff that we go to when we sleep. And I think that just the way you see how the energy travels from the pole in and out of the earth, making a figure 8, I think that's what the tree of life is at the North Pole. I think when you get to the North Pole, the night sky actually falls and kiss the earth and meet the plane and go into the earth and out the great deep and keep going back in again. So I think the sky start bending when we get to the North Pole, and it's like, you would probably be scared if you saw it, but I think the ancestors knew about it, and I think that they hide it from us because it's where the spiritual meets the physical. And it proves that they never were separate. That spiritual and physical is one and the same, like yin yang. So at the center of our earth is like this symbol here, you see. And that energy, that magnetic energy, is darkness. You attracted to it every time you blink your eyes. I bet you can't just hold your eyes open and not blink. You got to. We attracted to it. I bet you can't go your whole life without sleeping. You got to, because it's as above, so below. Everything is sandwiched in between the darkness. Just like the darkness fills up the earth from the inside and then submerges it from the outside. This is called enveloping something, and an envelope is a seal. It's a 360 with an X in it, just like we saw with the symbol of earth, or a pyramid from the top view. So when you look at this tree of life, you see what I'm telling you about what happens at the center of the earth. The sky falls down. The darkness behind the stars actually falls down onto the earth, like how they said a sky is falling. This is where I think they're getting that concept from. So the night sky falls and penetrates the earth. Remember how we say there's a black hole at the center of the earth, but they also tell you Mount Meru is at the center of the earth. So what's happening? I'm going to show you what you're looking at now is what I'm saying. The night sky is an element, a physical force that you can pick up and hold, but you can only go and access it at the North Pole. Remember that there are some elements you can only get from certain continents. For example, you can only find titanium in the Congo. And what I'm telling you is you can only find dark matter at the North Pole. This is just my belief. I believe there's different elements on different places of this earth, and that's why they control the land. And I believe that the North Pole has what they talking about, this dark matter stuff. And I believe you can physically, visually see it. And I believe it will trip you out or spook you out. I think it's a very, something we need to. I think the ancestors knew about this place and what was there, because they showed it all in their art that something happens at the North Pole that's like a point of singularity, of an event where all worlds merge and pretty much where everything meets everything. And the source of all is there, the creating agent. So I believe the darkness is something, it's not nothing. And that's what's been magnetically attracting us to the pole, like you see here. And if you stare at this a minute, keep this in your mind, you can actually see this magnetism in nature. You can go and recreate this in your kitchen. Let me show you how. Hold on. Here's what's happening at the North Pole. Wait a minute. You see how in this cup that, think about it, this cup is full of water, right? But when you start spinning it, all the potential air that was in that water splits the entire sea in the middle. And this is how you get the biblical splitting of the Red Sea, because this is how our cosmos is made. It's split from the inside out. In fact, there's an ancient deity who's shaped just like what I'm telling you, like this figure 8. So if you could think of the air that's dropping down, creating this cyclone, and how it's splitting this sea in the middle of the cup, think of that as the night sky coming down to the middle of the earth. We're surrounded by darkness. Darkness is on the inside of your body, and darkness is behind the stars. Okay? Inside of you is darkness. You're wrapped up in flesh, and inside of you is complete darkness. And there's a lot going on in that darkness that keep you alive. So the primordial source, or the primordial energy that keeps us alive, is founded in darkness. The works of the Creator is in darkness, making everything that you physically see possible. So if the night sky was equivalent to this cyclone phenomena here, it makes sense what's happening at the North Pole. The night sky is merging. In fact, what I'm saying is all of the dimensions are merged. Think of a donut or a double nut. I went over that in the previous video. So this cup, this cyclone, think about it. If you stop spinning this, the water will just go back to being, it'll fill up the cup. So where's this air coming from? Remember that water and air is the same thing. And just by spinning this water, it'll separate itself naturally in the center. And anything in that cup is going to follow the pattern of that rotation. That's how we get the sun and moon and the luminaries going in their circuit. I hope this makes sense to y'all. So keep that in mind and think about this tree of life. It can just be a cyclone or a vortex at the middle of the earth, where darkness feeds the earth from the inside while protecting it from the outside. Think about it. Your mama covered you with her pregnant belly, and she protected you from the outside world. And if you would have came out of that protection, you would have died. So her womb, her arch, and her belly protected you. But not only did she cover you, or covenant, covert is something secretive, covering, the covenant. She created a cove or a cave for you in her womb, all right? And she covered you like Nut covers Gib and protected you. And not only did she cover you from the outside, she filled you up on the inside when she fed you through that umbilical cord, which was your first North Pole. At that age, you weren't able to be hooked to the Earth's magnetic North Pole. You were too young. So you was hooked to your mother's North Pole, and it was where? At the center of your belly, where there's a spiral or a belly button or a great seal, an X that marks the spot where you was being fed by your first Earth, which was with your mother. You was connected to her umbilical cord, depended on her to feed you and protect you. So the sustainer and the creator, the Alpha and Omega, who covers you and fills you up. This is very profound stuff. Outside in, inside out, as above, so below. If you keep following along, we're going to grow together and we're going to get more insight. And if you're not grasping the concepts now, I'll explain it as long as I need to for you to get it. Because I love y'all, and I'm telling you, this is beautiful stuff, what we are. So think of what I'm saying, what happens at the North Pole. Think of the cup with the cyclone. Think of the baby who's covered by his mother and also filled up by his mother. We can't escape the matriarch of our reality. There's a creator for this creation, and I think that we should start referring to it as a she. Because for the past 7 years, you referred to it as a he, and it got us nothing but destruction. All he's and she's come from the she. When you think about the word she, it has the word he in it. So I say this all the time. When I say I pay homage to the great mother, and men start trolling me talking about, what about the man? You don't have to pay homage to the man when you pay homage to the great mother. The mother means everybody. Think about it. I don't have to pay homage to the sun or the moon if I pay homage to the black hole that eclipses them both. At that point, I'm not dealing with the polarity. I'm dealing with the balancing agent, which is darkness, which covers us and fills us. So I hope y'all understand, because what I'm giving you is the Holy Grail. So to understand the Holy Grail, you got to understand something about blind people. Blind people see by using a system called Braille. So let's just say the Holy Grail is the Holy Braille, because you can only find the Holy Grail by shutting your eyes and start feeling your reality, getting outside, touching them plants, getting your binoculars, looking up at them stars, getting interactive with nature. That's the only way you're going to be able to see it, is by feeling it. So you got to use what the blind people use, Braille, to see. And you will find the Grail when you use the Braille. Shut your eyes and think. They stopped us from thinking. So think about what I'm telling you here. What happens at the North Pole? Darkness meets light. The encompassing force, which is darkness, marries the center of the cosmos. You see, just like this picture here. And it has to split this thing at the center like a pineapple stalk. Splits a pineapple at the center, but the stalk is also part of the pineapple skin. So the very thing that sustains and feeds the pineapple covers and protects the pineapple. And that's called the Alpha and Omega. Have a nice day, brothers and sisters. I enjoyed y'all and I love y'all to death. Stick around for part 3. We're going to crank it up some more. Flat power.